The reason to start was simple. The quality of the game was impressive. Would they even be able to play other games after this one came out? The player thought, could it really be that much fun? The Last Savior. The commercials for the upcoming game were top-notch. The young man had played it a few days ago, and the graphics were stunning. Passers-by said they wanted to try the game as soon as possible. Everyone was expecting a true masterpiece. There are many different games in the world, ranging from those that have existed for millennia to those that have become an achievement of modern technology. Virtual reality games. The goal of such a variety of games is always the same: fun. Gamers are usually divided into two types depending on what they mean by the word fun. A hardcore gamer is someone who only finds winning a game fun. On the other side of the gaming world is the casual gamer, who doesn't care whether they win or not. But what happens when these two types of gamers play together? These players will never be able to get along, no matter what happens during the game. For them, playing together would be very unpleasant. But what if these two players have to be together until they reach the end? Sometimes the only thing left for them to do is to close their eyes and go with the flow. The young man saw a gaming chair ahead and headed towards it. Sitting down, he assessed the chair and thought it was very comfortable. Everything here is top-notch. Right now, the story of a hardcore gamer striving to become the strongest player begins. Kim Jong-un, 23 years old. Like most people his age, he likes to play games. He is a casual gamer, switching from one game to another. The young man believed that there were many fun games in the world that he wanted to enjoy. Kim Jong-un remembered the game Real Fantasy. He played it for about 6 months. About a year and a half ago, a game development company released the world's first virtual reality game. 11 years of development and 1 million coins were spent on the release of the MMORPG game. Based on the enormous development period and investment, the result was a blockbuster game. This game was a complete failure. Exactly 1 year later, an unknown company launched the game. The young man behind the gaming chair thought that there was no description of the game, no company credits, and yet the game was released anyway. This is a great way to go bankrupt. Maybe it's because he started playing before everyone else? At first, he wasn't interested, but now everything is different. 6 months ago, he was confused because of some incidents in his life. After 3 months, he came to his senses and started playing again. The young man saw shocking news on television. A gamer had died while playing a virtual reality game. Kim Jong-un thought that he was not one of those gamers who eat and drink while playing. But if he died while playing, would he become like that in his next life? However, none of that mattered. It was time to start. Immersing himself in the game, the young man looked around. It was amazing. Suddenly, there was a loud noise that made his ears ring. Realistic aliens appeared in front of the player, with a sign saying that they were the developers of Lhasa. Kim Jong-un thought that compared to this game, Real Fantasy was rubbish. The young man saw a slot machine in front of him. Was he imagining things? Was it really a gacha machine? There were no buttons anywhere, so he had to find at least a coin slot. Was it possible to get a kindred spirit with this machine? Before starting the game, the gamer must choose a kindred spirit by drawing lots from this machine. That is why they say that in the Last Savior kindred spirit system, luck is your best friend. All of the Last Savior's content begins and ends with drawing lots. It is a game in which the player's fate depends on luck. The young man did not like this. Suddenly, a nightmare from the past came to mind. Of course, settling accounts is more convenient, but considering how much money he had spent on this game, he didn't want to think about it. Although, on the other hand, Lhasa is the fairest choice when compared to other similar games. Each person has only one account with iris recognition. Account resets are prohibited. Even if money is not a problem, what about luck? The penalty will be huge in any case. It all depends on how lucky the player is. It is necessary to choose a kindred spirit and skills. Kim Jong-un thought he needed an excellent kindred spirit. There was nothing special about it, so it was time to make a choice. The player now had access to the inventory. Kim Jong-un thought that if he got a high-ranking kindred spirit, the skill would be weak. The young man thought that the number of 9-star kindred spirits could be counted on one hand. Kim Jong-un prepared to drop a coin into the terminal and caught himself thinking that he was nervous. He was even sweating. Kim Jong-un was very happy with the result. He got a golden ball. Could there really be a spirit with 7 stars? The young man wondered, was he really awake? Was it possible to get a 7-star spirit so easily? Kim Jong-un realized that he had gotten a 7-star spirit on his first try out of 10. That was very cool. The player decided to take a closer look. As far as he understood, someone should appear from the ball. Kim Jong-un saw the candidates for the role of his kindred spirit. Durkin, 1 star. A military man, leader of the Ash Wolf. A second-ranked mercenary and head of the Ash Wolf mercenary group. He worked in Hallis, a small state on the continent of Ryun. An experienced soldier who would be an excellent assistant to the player. Kim Jong-un thought that he would not be surprised by this. Now it was clear how it worked. Jojo, 7 stars. Roland, 7 stars. These players have stunning appearances. They look magnificent. Which one should he choose? Kim Jong-un wondered, what if none of them are the best? The player thought, whichever character he got, if he threw away the rest of the coins, the spirits he currently had would disappear. That's a bad idea. At that moment, Kim Jong-un thought that he was a player who valued enjoying the game above all else. Kim Jong-un mentally apologized to the other 2 players. The player decided to think about it rationally. Today he was really lucky, although he understood that he was not rational at all, but simply a gambler. The young man decided that luck was definitely on his side and threw a coin into the terminal. He went for the 9 stars. The next moment, Kim Jong-un was ready to throw this game away. The young man did not understand how everything could have gone so wrong. He gave up the 7-star spirit and received only a maximum of 3 stars in exchange. Kim Jong-un understood that he had no one to blame but himself for making that choice. If it ended this way, then the young man had no choice but to move on and just start playing. However, luck had not completely turned its back on him. Judging by what he got this time, the player got a good option. The creators had at least some conscience. He got a kindred spirit with 6 stars. It was better than nothing. Kim Jong-un got a Knight of the Round Table? Maybe he should choose him. The young man noticed that a spirit with 0 stars had fallen. Kang Jin-ho. It was obvious that this spirit was dressed in modern clothing. How could someone who didn't understand modern people at all act as a kindred spirit? Maybe it was a bug. In any case, it all looked very strange. Kim Jong-un thought he might have seen this person somewhere before. Why did he look so familiar? Our hero understood that this kindred spirit had no special skills or description. He was a player who broke the rules. Morum, fantasy, action. One thing remains the same. No matter what genre it is, the phrase rule breaker can never mean anything bad. Kim Jong-un thought that in any case, there wasn't much to choose from. Our hero settled on a spirit with 0 stars. Kang Jin-ho became more real and sighed deeply. The awakening had begun. Our hero was interested in what kind of person his kindred spirit was. Kang Jin-ho looked at Kim Jong-un and cursed loudly. What was going on here? After listening to the story, the spirit asked again, did this guy really choose him as his kindred spirit? Our hero nodded affirmatively and said that his name was Kim Jong-un. Kang Jin-ho said that all this was very strange. He had just been playing a game until that moment. What was going on? Kim Jong-un said that there was nothing that could be done about it. Apparently, Kang Jin-ho was just a bug. Our hero began to think about casting the lot again. Kang Jin-ho said that he saw himself as a rule breaker with 0 stars. This meant that the Lhasa system recognized him as a kindred spirit. There was no such thing as a bug in Lhasa. Kim Jong-un apologized and said that it was obviously a bug. He couldn't believe that a user could turn into an NPC overnight. Kang Jin-ho said that this was the first time this had happened to him, but he knew it wasn't a bug. The young man said he was sure of it because he was one of the developers of Lhasa. Kim Jong-un realized that this was the player who had been playing the game the longest. It seemed like he had run into some kind of psychopath. What should he do? Kim Jong-un decided that he needed to log out of the game immediately and eat something. He said that it was time for him to go. He needed to go to bed early today so that he could watch the championship final at dawn. Kang Jin-ho said that couldn't be. Kim Jong-un had heard of the butterfly effect, hadn't he? But what championship final was he talking about? Wasn't it in June? Kim Jong-un confirmed it. It would be the 5th in the morning. Kang Jin-ho said he thought he was going crazy. Hadn't there been any extraordinary incidents in mid-March? Was it some high-profile case involving Lhasa or something related to Kim Jong-un? Our hero was surprised. Why did his interlocutor suddenly bring this up? Where did this question come from and why did it bother him? Our hero said that he had taken academic leave and was not doing anything. Just for fun, he decided to play Lhasa once. Kim Jong-un suddenly remembered the news about a man who died while playing a virtual reality game. That player's name was Kang Jin-ho. Could it be that he was the very same gamer who died while playing The Last Savior? Kim Jong-un thought that after that incident, all virtual reality games had been temporarily suspended. At that time, gamers who streamed their gameplay made a lot of noise. Kang Jin-ho thought that now he had also died while playing the game and had become an NPC. Where was his life headed? Kim Jong-un asked the spirit why he was so calm. Wasn't what he had just heard a serious problem for him? Kang Jin-ho said he was fine. There had been worse troubles before. Kim Jong-un was frankly surprised. What could be worse? Kang Jin-ho said that his interlocutor wouldn't believe him even if he told him. It would be better to draw a skill first. Kang Jin-ho asked in surprise why this guy was reacting so violently all the time. He was just drawing a skill by lot, not a kindred spirit. When choosing a kindred spirit, the number of stars for the skill is already predetermined. Even the color effects change depending on the spirit chosen. 6 stars is silver, 7 stars is gold. The young man was surprised. Why did the colors disappear in the gacha machine? Kang Jin-ho asked, was his rank really 0? Kim Jong-un confirmed this and added that Kang Jin-ho should not tell him. Kang Jin-ho said that everything said after the words, "just don't tell me," turned out to be true. The sum of the stars of the kindred spirit and skills is always equal to 10. The restrictions on kindred spirits were lifted. The player became the first to obtain a skill with 10 stars and received the corresponding title. Kim Jong-un and Kang Jin-ho were both surprised. Kim Jong-un decided that this was a divine game. It was evident from the expression on his face. A 10th rank skill had been unlocked. From the moment a player obtains a skill, they have the opportunity to view the status window. It was interesting to look at the description of the 10-star skill. The status window was very easy to activate. Everything was easy to understand. It was difficult to get confused, even if one wanted to. The player gained the right to use items that were previously prohibited or closed. The title bonus remains in effect. The skill level will automatically increase as the player's level increases. Kim Jong-un was surprised. Why was there no further explanation? There were no conditions or scope of application for the skill. I wonder how it works. Kang Jin-ho didn't know if it was an active or passive skill. He had never seen anything like it in 10 years of playing. Kim Jong-un was surprised. What 10 years are we talking about? It had only been about 6 months since Lhasa was released on the market. Kang Jin-ho told his interlocutor that he was the main character in this game. Kim Jong-un was offended. Was the spirit laughing at him? Kang Jin-ho said he would explain everything in 30 seconds. Had Kim Jong-un ever read fantasy novels? Our hero nodded affirmatively. Kang Jin-ho said that then he would easily understand everything. So Kim Jong-un knows that there are things in fantasy novels that are considered commonplace. The spirit said that he was a transmigrator with the ability to reincarnate. Kang Jin-ho was surprised at why his interlocutor was reacting so violently. Kim Jong-un asked, if certain conditions are not met, will he be forcibly returned to the beginning? And what exactly are those conditions? Kang Jin-ho said that there had been a failure during the capture. The spirit added that he had challenged the last savior 5 times. Kang Jin-ho noted that he had failed every time. Kim Jong-un said that this was even worse than the plot of a fantasy novel. No one would believe it. Kang Jin-ho replied that it didn't matter whether he believed it or not, but one thing was certain. The player had a kindred spirit that even someone with 9 stars couldn't match. Kang Jin-ho declared that he would make the main character the strongest player. Kim Jong-un said he would choose the name Carp for himself. Kang Jin-ho eagerly awaited the moment when they would start working together. The spirit introduced himself as the Supreme Heavenly Demon and said he was ready to do it together with the character Carpe. The young people found themselves in a forest. The Heavenly Demon said that the training would take place here. The system announced that the monster raid would begin in a minute. They would have to fight 50 monsters for an hour. Kim Jong-un thought, could it really be that simple and actually start? Kang Jin-ho said that the monsters would appear right here. The only thing to do was to run away or hide. Kim Jong-un asked how long players could usually hold out. The Heavenly Demon replied that it was about 12 minutes. It was really difficult, but there was no need to worry. The player would get a combo. If he listened, he would get his first rank very soon. Before Kang Jin-ho could finish speaking, Kim Jong-un rushed to run away. He said he had no reason to listen. The system announced that the raid would begin in 30 seconds. 25 goblins and 25 kobolds. The Sky Demon shouted for Carp to run into the forest, not the other way. He had to survive and get the best reward. That was important. Kim Jong-un said there was no need to worry. They would become the best, no matter what. The first monster appeared before the hero. The young man stopped abruptly and changed his trajectory. Kim Jong-un swung his arm and prepared to strike the goblin for the first time. The goblin was hit and deactivated. Our hero did not expect to defeat his opponent with just one blow. Kim Jong-un was delighted. This was just training after all. He could do whatever he wanted. The heavenly demon thought that it would not be easy to play with this madman. After a while, the system announced that Karp had set a world record for the speed of monster destruction during training. Kang Jin-ho said that the reward for the fastest clear was worse than the hidden reward. However, a spirit without stars would still have difficulty using the hidden reward. The heavenly demon asked if Kim Jong-un knew how to fight in real life. Our hero stated that he was not good at sports. Kim Jong-un added that in his real fantasy, all he did was fight in the game for 6 months. Kang Jin-ho was surprised. Did he really play such a boring game for 6 whole months? Although it was thanks to this that he learned how to fight monsters. Kim Jong-un was surprised why Kang Jin-ho was looking at him so strangely. The system announced that the record had been confirmed. The player could choose one of 3 random items. Kang Jin-ho told Karpi to just hit the chest. An item would appear from it. An unknown sword appeared in the hero's hands. It was not a ranked item. The heavenly demon said that the player was lucky, even though he didn't even try. Some people start the game over just for the chance to hold this sword in their hands, while others get it on their first try. Kim Jong-un looked at the sword and asked what it was. Kang Jin-ho explained that items in the game are divided into 2 categories, ranked and unranked. When a player evaluates an unranked item, additional abilities may be unlocked. Kim Jong-un was surprised. Did even additional abilities depend on luck? How could a game that depended entirely on luck even exist? The player hoped that there would be something good in the other chest. However, there was only a brick. Was this a joke? Kang Jin-ho explained that bricks appear in 70% of cases. The heavenly demon laughed. It would be funny if the player got another brick. It seemed that his luck had run out. Kim Jong-un was surprised. Whose side was this spirit on? The player received an unrated egg. Details about it were unknown. Kim Jong-un thought that the egg probably contained a pet. Kang Jin-ho said that this guy was lucky again. Kim Jong-un said he would take the unrated sword and the unrated egg. Kang Jin-ho said that Karpe had been receiving cool rewards from the very beginning. However, in this kind of game, luck does not last forever. The system reported that an unexpected incident had occurred. A trap item had been detected. The egg in Kim Jong-un's hands began to crack. It was hatching. Kim Jong-un was frightened. Where had his luck gone? Kang Jin-ho was indignant. Why did he take the trap item? What an unlucky guy. Now all that was left was to pray that the monster would be of the lowest rank and prepare for battle. In the end, a goblin appeared, the warrior of the bloody sunset. With a sword in his hand, he growled menacingly. Kim Jong-un was surprised. What kind of scary, modified goblin was this? The heavenly demon said they were gone. It was pointless to fight this goblin. Kang Jin-ho said that with Kim Jong-un's current level, he would not be able to defeat this goblin, even if he died and was resurrected. Our hero thought that the spirit was mocking him because of his low level. Kim Jong-un said he would try anyway. He didn't want to die without doing anything. The protagonist gathered momentum and delivered a powerful blow to the goblin's head. However, the goblin remained on its feet and counterattacked. The young man flew far back. The celestial demon asked if the first-level player knew how many times he would have to hit the monster to destroy it. Kim Jong-un replied that he just wanted to win. Kim Jong-un turned to his inventory and grabbed a sword. The attack on the goblin continued. The celestial demon told the player Karpe that an unrated item has no power until it is evaluated. It is better to use a brick. Kim Jong-un decided to continue attacking with the sword. There was no time to change weapons. The celestial demon said that Karp was doing well and should continue in the same vein. The system reported that the item's name and rating had changed due to an additional option. Now it was the Green Skin Destroyer with a heroic rating. Kim Jong-un thought it was just amazing. Our hero dealt with the goblin and said that the game was simply fantastic. Kang Jin-ho thought that this guy was experiencing something that ordinary players couldn't, all thanks to the 10-star skill. The system announced that in 5 seconds the player would be transported to Lacien. The players paid attention to the graphics. This city looked amazing. Was this really a game and not reality? Kim Jong-un suggested hunting monsters and completing quests. Our hero suggested taking a look at the other players. They seemed depressed. One of the players admitted it. The monster turtle turned out to be a tough opponent. Perhaps he had lost someone dear to him. He added that his level had increased, as had his stats. Kim Jong-un said that everything would have been perfect if he had had 10 more seconds. Kang Jin-ho didn't understand what this crazy person was talking about. Celestial Demon said that the last attack had worked. This could be verified by checking the status. Kim Jong-hoon asked how the Heavenly Demon managed to remain here physically. After all, the abilities of kindred spirits are limited. How did he end up here after training? Karp wondered if it was because of the rule breaker. The Celestial Demon replied that he didn't think so, but he had his guesses. Could Karp reveal his titles? Information appeared. The first kindred spirit had 0 stars. The restrictions on the kindred spirit were lifted. Kang Jin-ho couldn't even imagine that such restrictions existed. He wouldn't be able to talk normally. Kim Jong-hoon agreed. Spending 10 years on the game and not using his knowledge would be very sad. Kim Jong-hoon admitted that he still had doubts about the Heavenly Demon. Kang Jin-ho asked if the player had trust issues. Had he been betrayed before? The Celestial Demon said that now all he had to do was prove his usefulness. Kang Jin-ho asked what Kim Jong-hoon would do after completing his training in the online action game. The young man replied that he would undergo training or use the beginner's resources to hunt mobs, or he would start the main quest right away. The Heavenly Demon said that whatever choice the young man made, it would be his own path. In this regard, the last savior gave players unlimited freedom. The Heavenly Demon wasn't sure if that was still the case. The young people noticed that a large crowd had gathered in the square. What was going on there? The servant said that if people joined their beginner's guild, Mammonism, they would be guaranteed an enjoyable game. One of the players said that they were not going to join anything. They would discuss everything among themselves and create their own guild. Kim Jong-hoon noted that this person was extremely hostile to recruitment into the guild. The Heavenly Demon acknowledged that it had been about 6 months since the PC version was released. The time had come when experienced players who had secured advantageous positions began to lure in newbies. The servant said that such players put themselves in a difficult position with their behavior. It may be difficult for them to play in the future. One of the players was surprised. Are they really being threatened? Are they really player killers? With too much freedom, experienced players can abuse the system, monopolize items, or destroy other users who refuse to cooperate. The servant said that they intend to protect the players. Had they heard of the mutant deer antler hunt? Information about this quest can be found in the beginner's guide on the bulletin board. It is one of the mandatory tasks for first-level players. Kim Jong-hoon was surprised. Does such a quest really exist? The Sky Demon admitted that it is one of the most effective quests. Mutant deer are not that strong. The problem is where they appear. This is the only place in the city where player killers are allowed. The servant asked if they had heard of the Bloodthirsty Guild. It is a guild of player killers, widely known in these parts. About a month ago, this group began to grow rapidly in the starting city, presenting themselves as a squad of killers. They set up ambushes near the deer spawn area and attack weak players. The attendant said that in such cases, a voice in the speaker announces, "The game is over. The player has been killed by a killer." Someone asked, "How can we be sure that these people are not part of a guild that is subjugating newbies?" The servant offered an alternative. They protect players from the bloodthirsty so that they can successfully complete the quest. This service is provided free of charge. The guild's goal is to support newbies. But there is one condition. In exchange for their help, they want only one thing. You must give them all your remaining coins for the lottery. The player said that the coins for drawing lots are mere trifles that won't get them anything anyway. The servant explained that their guild has a person with a special profession, a merchant. If you use his skill, you can sell the coins at a higher price. The players said that in that case, they couldn't be angry with such a kind and decent person. They should go down this path, trust only Rohan, and follow him anywhere. Kang Jin-ho said that this immediately raises the question, what does Karp think about what this trickster said? Our hero replied that it sounded like complete nonsense, so everything he said seemed extremely suspicious. The Heavenly Demon admitted that, although it sounded a little strange, the servant was not lying. Everything he said was true. Our hero was surprised. Are they really a charitable organization? Could there be something like that in the game? Taking advantage of the moment, you can experience for yourself how disgusting the entrenched privileges of player killers are, as well as those at the top of the top 10 guilds who use these advantages. Kim Jong-hoon noted that the situation was similar to a scene from a novel, where the main character, a recluse, single-handedly opposes a huge force. Kang Jin-ho congratulated Mr. Main Character on his debut. The old farmer said that deer were destroying his farm. If the antlers of the herd leader were placed on the farm, the deer would be frightened and would no longer approach the crops. Would the young people agree to get the antlers of the herd leader for him? Kim Jong-un thought that even tips were available in the game. It wasn't so unfriendly after all. It was the starting city, so he wanted to get all the information he could. The protagonist finished registering for the quest. But what were all the people doing? How long would they have to wait for their turn? Maybe it was just time to go hunting? The celestial demon said to be patient. This quest was much more effective than the other 4 regular quests combined. A man approached and was surprised. Were these fools really going to just wait until they were called to the start? Kim Jong-un noticed the people who decided to skip the line. Who did they think they were? The players said their names were Minsu, Jongsu, and Kwansu. Together, they were the unsurpassed trinity. They were called the 3 madmen. Jongsu rushed at the deer and said that whoever ate it first would be its owner. Kim Jong-un thought they were fools who had decided to play alone so they wouldn't have to pay anything. Minsu declared that the icing on the cake would be his swift dagger, which would pierce the deer's throat. An archer was hiding in a tree. He chose his target and drew his bow. The arrow pierced Minsu's leg, and blood spurted in all directions. Jongsu and Kwansu were frightened and froze in indecision. Minsu fell to the ground and screamed loudly in pain. His friends rushed to his aid. The archers took aim at the other players. One of the players determined the direction from which the arrows were being fired and warned the others. Servant Rohan shouted for everyone to take up defensive positions and cover the newbies. Minsu asked if those scoundrels from the bloodthirsty guild had already left. If he had tried to catch the leader of the pack alone, he would have been in big trouble. Mammonism was a really good guild. Kim Jong-un looked at the players who were shouting that the Mammonism guild was cool. Kang Jin-ho suggested speeding up the quest. Kim Jong-un was surprised. How could the heavenly demon say such a thing when he saw so many players standing in line? Kang Jin-ho replied that he wasn't going to waste time waiting in line. There were other places where the leader of the deer herd appeared, and much more often than here. Karp was surprised. Was the heavenly demon really suggesting they enter the lair of the bloodthirsty? That could be fun. However, it was a large guild. Would he be able to take them all out on his own? Kang Jin-ho replied that his interlocutor still did not realize how absurd his choice was. Had he forgotten what happened when a stream of arrows rained down on him? It felt as if the arrows were flying too slowly. In this regard, is the main character, the hermit, ready for an unbeatable throw? Karp replied that he was definitely ready to set off. Rohan said that one user had entered the forest. He was a newbie. Eliminate him as usual. Kim Jong-un said he noticed something strange. The first volley of arrows fired by the bloodthirsty guild was different from the second. At first, the arrows fired at the 3 targets were highly accurate and hit their mark. However, the arrows fired at the Mammonism guild were different. It seemed as if they had rehearsed every movement in advance to reproduce the perfect block of the attack. Kang Jin-ho thought that this Karp might be much smarter than originally assumed. He asked what conclusion the young man could draw. Kim Jong-un suggested that both guilds had been in cahoots from the beginning. The arrows fired at the novice did not reach their target. The archers were surprised. They had been told that he was a novice. Apparently, the information had not been verified. How could someone who moved so quickly be called a novice? He was at least a 10th level. We have to try to take him down in hand-to-hand combat. Right now, I'm hiding behind a tree. Kim Jong-un asked the heavenly demon if there was a function to record the game process. Kang Jin-ho replied that the last savior automatically saves videos of the game process. Our hero said that such a recording might come in handy in the future. The player was attacked by a player killer. The attacker asked, "Why is this guy so nimble?" Kim Jong-un said that his opponent was rather boring, so he would get another blow to keep him from getting complacent. The attacker from the bloodthirsty guild cried out for mercy. He was just following orders. Since it was just a quest, the protagonist did not spare the attacker, and he was destroyed. The remaining villains thought they couldn't defeat this guy. Suddenly, our hero appeared near them and said that another villain had gone to heaven. Now there was only one left. A representative of the bloodthirsty guild asked him to spare him. If he died now, he would not be able to log into the game for 3 days and would have to eat only instant noodles. He was ready to give up all the items he had. Kim Jong-un said he had never heard anything more ridiculous. No one needed his handouts. Karp declared that he would take everything anyway as soon as his opponent was destroyed. Kang Jin-ho wondered why a guy who had never served in the special forces or even played sports was so good at the game. He also said that he had participated in battles in the previously released Real Fantasy. What was his place there? Kim Jong-un replied that he had entered the game for a short time and rose to second place. The Heavenly Demon thought that this guy had left all the hardcore gamers far behind. Kim Jong-un added that he was in good physical shape and had been very lucky, but after that, he began to fall inexorably. The Heavenly Demon was surprised. Had Carpi really only played budget VR until now? The first generation budget virtual machine was called a tin can. It flooded all the internet cafes because it was cheap. In line with its low costs, the device was widely known for its terrible user synchronization speed. Only a monster could take second place playing with this tin can. Kang Jin-ho thought that by using this player, his experience and information, he might be able to put an end to this game once and for all. However, first he had to buy the latest premium model of the game machine. But where could he get that kind of money? Kang Jin-ho told the player that they first had to collect the items that had been left behind, and then they would talk. Kim Jong-un found a coin for the game terminal. The young man assumed that, in addition to equipment, all sorts of useless items had been dropped. With the exception of personal belongings and special items, the players lost everything. Kang Jin-ho told the player that in that case, the situation changes dramatically. Kim Jong-un was surprised. What was going on? The Heavenly Demon asked Carpe how he thought Mammonism spent all the coins it collected. Rohan recently mentioned that there is a trader in his guild who uses the bargaining skill to sell coins at a higher price. Even in the best strategies for beginners, coins remain useless, so they can simply be sold in a store to get at least some money. For example, for a bottle of potion. Kang Jin-ho decided to ask another question. Who developed this strategy for beginners? Kim Jong-un was surprised. Was the Heavenly Demon implying that all of this was the work of that scoundrel? Kang Jin-ho replied that Rohan couldn't be the only one involved in strategic planning. The best strategy for beginners was written by the head of the Mammonism Guild. A well-developed strategy is the key to success, but there are pitfalls here too. Strategy is very important information for players. After the game is released, small hints are uploaded to the community one after another. When there are enough of these tips, the absolute strategy emerges. The reasons for writing strategies vary. Some do it for attention, others out of good intentions. Most often, you will find people who use their strategy solely for profit. The head of the Mammonism Guild is one of those who seeks to extract maximum benefit from the situation. The head of this guild is a person obsessed with money. Human psychology is very simple. The moment people believe in a strategy, it ceases to be just a strategy. It becomes gospel. In the case of hardcore gamers, everything is much more serious. People who see this strategy will sell all their coins. Kim Jong-un noted that there are gamers who are not obsessed with strategies at all. Kang Jin-ho said that in such cases, players are usually targeted by cunning individuals like Rohan, who quietly lure their prey into their nets. Kim Jong-un was surprised. Does the Heavenly Demon really think that all this is the creation of one single person? How did Kang Jin-ho manage to figure out such a cunning and complicated plan? The Heavenly Demon replied that it was actually very simple. In about a year, someone from the Mammonism Guild would leak internal secrets. The coins, which everyone considered useless ballast, would actually turn out to be an important component for completing the hidden quest Antique Bazaar, which only appears in the city for beginners. The hidden quest Antique Bazaar is one of the most unique among the many hidden PC quests. Moreover, the appearance time and location of the quest NPCs change each time. The quest opens for a brief moment and then disappears immediately. It may seem crazy from the outside, but the reward is worth the search. All the player needs to do is meet an NPC nicknamed the Antiquarian and give him a random coin. The Mammonism Guild is doing its best to leave users without coins. According to the quest conditions, only one person who arrives first will be able to complete it. Kim Jong-un was surprised. If the time and place of the NPC's appearance are random, then the coins mean nothing. If the quest appears randomly, then everything depends on the luck of the players. Kang Jin-ho noted that the location does indeed change each time, but he did not claim that it happens randomly. This point may be confusing, but there is no need to worry. He is a veteran player with 10 years of experience who has restarted the game 7 times. He will take care of everything, and Kim Jong-un can go and get some coins. The player reported to the commander that they had a big problem. Their guys had been crushed. The commander of the Mammonism Armed Forces, Jong Woo-hyuk, was surprised. How could this have happened? Jong Woo-hyuk was outraged at such reckless behavior and asked, what were their losses? The player reported that they had lost 10 men. The commander thought that was quite a significant number. How many enemies had invaded their territory? The player replied that there was only one enemy. Jong Woo-hyuk became angry. Were they really suffering such losses because of a single player? If this became known to senior management, he would have to write an explanatory note, and his bonus would be cut until the end of the year. The commander said that this person was most likely sent by one of their competitors. In that case, it was necessary to send someone against him who could deal with him once and for all. The best player hired by the head of the Mammonism Guild, Hanzo, said he had heard about what had happened. Was it finally his turn to enter the arena? Hanzo was surprised. Why was the commander silent? Did he not need help? John Woo-hyuk thought that this guy was dressed up as a ninja again. The commander thought, if he doesn't play along, he won't take a step. That's why he's so difficult to deal with. John Woo-hyuk told Mr. Hanzo that his moment of glory had finally arrived. The guild really needed his strength. The ninja told the commander to leave the solution to this problem to him. An opportunity had arisen to repay him for the roof over his head. Suddenly, Hanzo bent over and dropped to the ground. Jung Woo-hyuk asked what had happened. The ninja replied that an old wound inflicted by a man from his past life had started to ache. Hanzo added that even now he remembered his old wounds. Hanzo thought that he had managed to secure a place in the top 100 player killers, but he didn't make it into the top 20 because he mistakenly chose the most important kindred spirit. After creating a new character and winning victory after victory, he was able to achieve everything he has now. However, he has another reason to climb one step higher. God of Battle, a rare fighter who appeared in real fantasy like a comet and immediately rose to second place in the rankings. Hanzo fought him in the arena, but was completely defeated. Then one day the God of Battle suddenly vanished like a mirage, and they never crossed paths again. However, Hanzo knew that he was definitely somewhere here, in the vastness of the game The Last Savior. The ninja said that he would like to fight the God of Battle at least once more. If fate truly exists, then they will surely meet again. Hanzo thought that his memories were still fresh, as if their battle had taken place only yesterday. On that day, the same bright moon was shining in the sky. Commander John Woo-hyuk thought that Hanzo was too obsessed with his ideas. It was time for him to grow up. Ninja Hanzo knelt before the magic circle drawn on the forest glade. The system reported that the fire trap had been successfully set. As soon as the target was inside the trap, a powerful flame would erupt, causing enormous damage. Hanzo climbed onto a tree branch and said that the trap was set. Now all that was left to do was wait. Although Hanzo was fulfilling the terms of the contract, he still felt uncomfortable about having to take out newbies. However, once he dealt with this little guy, the contract with the Mammonism Guild would be complete. Kim Jong-hoon asked the heavenly demon if they needed to go a little further to reach the herd of deer. However, he was more interested in whether anyone else from the bloodthirsty guild would appear on their way. He wanted to collect more items. Hanzo saw our hero and thought that this was the intruder. He was heading in the right direction. There was only one step left. Our hero stepped on a fire trap, and his body was immediately engulfed in flames. Hanzo thought this was perfect and jumped down from the tree to the ground. The ninja said that the rookie would most likely hold a grudge against him, but he would still have to deal with this guy here. However, the fire trap was forcibly extinguished, and the ninja was surprised. Our hero was also very surprised. The system reported that the unlock skill had been activated, the fire trap had been eliminated, and the abnormal burn status had been reset. So, for the first time in the history of the game, the 10-star skill works exactly like this. Hanzo decided that he had taken this outcome into account. He would take advantage of his opponent's exposed back and deliver a knockout blow. Hanzo activated his special skill, Divine Whirlwind, and moved to attack his opponent. However, the ninja was surprised once again. How could a novice dodge his attack? Kim Jong-hoon counterattacked the attacker and kicked the blade out of his hands. Hanzo was surprised. Had the rookie disarmed him? There was only one person capable of using this technique so flawlessly. Could it be that he was facing the God of Battle? Kim Jong-hoon looked at the deactivated ninja and said that it was an unexpected attack. He was seriously frightened. If it weren't for his high endurance, things would have ended badly. Kang Jin-ho noted that this was not all. They were able to discover two effects of the 10-star skill. The heavenly demon added that it was now known that the unlock skill had a total of 3 abilities. It evaluated unidentified items, removed traps, and reset abnormal statuses. Kim Jong-hoon said that all this was amazing and unimaginable. Kang Jin-ho remarked that the situation amused him. Why did such a dimwit end up with such a powerful skill? An abnormal status should work under any circumstances. Could the unlocked skill really remove any abnormal status? Kim Jong-hoon looked at the ninja and noted that he got back on his feet sooner than expected. Hanzo said that he did not intend to spoil a beautiful fight, so he calmly accepted defeat. The loser had no choice but to die. The ninja added that even in his dreams, he could not have imagined that he would be defeated twice by the same person. Kim Jong-hoon was surprised. After all, they had met for the first time. Hanzo acknowledged this. The god of battle does not live in the past. That is what it means to be a great man. Kim Jong-hoon thought that the bloodthirsty guild was full of strange characters. Hanzo declared that he accepted his fate, but before his death, he had a request. Hanzo asked his opponent to add him as a friend. The system reported that the request had been received. On the battlefield, a terrifying monster roared loudly at the axe-wielding hunter. The head of the Mammonism guild, Mammon, said that he had finally managed to deal with these creatures. The warrior told Mammon that riots had broken out in Laysan, no matter which way you looked at it. The guild leader asked where exactly, on their guild's territory or on the bloodthirsties. The warrior replied that it was on the territory of the bloodthirsty. Mammon was surprised. Why wasn't there any basilisk blood or something like that? Mammon said that it would be enough to send Hanzo against the intruder. Why all the fuss? The warrior said that Hanzo had already lost. The warrior added that this top player had recently left the game and sent a message to that effect by mail. The message said that Hanzo had managed to cross paths with his comrades from the past. Meeting them had been his life's goal. Hanzo added in the letter that from now on, he was going to set out on a journey to follow this person. He would be away for a long time, so there was no point in looking for him. Mammon said he refused to understand. The warrior admitted that he didn't really understand either. Mammon acknowledged that this guy is obsessed with his ideas and very talented, but there's nothing to be done about it. Who is in charge of the bloodthirsty? The warrior replied that John Woo-hyuk is in command there. Mammon ordered that the appropriate order be conveyed to John Woo-hyuk. A hidden quest should appear soon, so it is necessary to focus on collecting coins. The number of people in the city needs to be increased. If an elderly person who has never been seen among the NPCs is discovered, immediate action must be taken. Mammon wondered how much more manpower he would have to spend on the beginner's town. The legendary Ray of the Iron Song leader, a battle axe used by the great orc leader Krandish Sheka during his lifetime, appeared in the hands of the cornerstones of Mammonism. Mammon said that he also received this weapon thanks to the hidden quest Antique Bazaar. He can't wait for the next item. Is there any information about the offender? The assistant said that it was a player who was quite skilled with several types of weapons, but there was no other information. The commander said that even if the antique dealer is found, it is only possible to trade with him once. Mammon reminded him that John Woo-hyuk would have to write an explanatory note, and his bonus would be cut. At that moment, John Woo-hyuk felt his ear itch. Could someone have remembered him? The system reported that the player had destroyed the leader of the deer herd. Quest item received, the leader's horn. Kim Jong-hoon said that he was even sad that it had ended so quickly. Kang Jin-ho remarked that it was excellent work. Now it was time to return to the city and collect the quest reward. The young man noticed that at some point, the scoundrels from the bloodthirsty began to walk in groups. This creates a slight difficulty. It's not hard to take down a few people, but if the remaining 8 attack together, it will be difficult to handle. Kim Jong-hoon asked if they were going to do the hidden quest. The heavenly demon said that wouldn't happen now. Kang Jin-ho remarked that if something like that were to happen, he would not have mentioned the hidden quest in the first place. They would go to the right place, located next to the church, if they move clockwise from Central Square at 5 o'clock. The heavenly demon added that for now, the player only needed to work hard to level up. Kim Jong-hoon thought he had hit the jackpot. Speaking of quests, he had a question. Weren't there any story or main quests in the game? Kang Jin-ho said that he would give him the quest that Carpe was so interested in. Kim Jong-hoon was surprised. Why was his kindred spirit only mentioning this now? Kang Jin-ho replied that most of the main quests are given by the kindred spirit. Most quests give items that help the user grow, so everyone tries to increase the affinity level of the kindred spirit. After all, by getting closer to it, you can get something extremely beneficial. Kang Jin-ho added that Carp would not be able to receive a quest from the kindred spirit in any case. These words greatly puzzled the hero. The celestial demon explained that this was because the player's level was not high enough yet. When he reached level 10, he would be able to receive the main quest. Kang Jin-ho said that this is why they now need to raise the player's level. There may be something else hidden in the 10-star skill, so it is worth continuing to research it. Kim Jong-hoon noted that outside the city, everyone was just chasing rabbits and squirrels. Our hero added that there are no real items here that players could collect. The Heavenly Demon asked the player to show the items purchased at the general store. Kim Jong-hoon wondered what exactly the Heavenly Demon was going to do here. Among the items were acorns and water from the city fountain. Kang Jin-ho told Karp to take one acorn and put it under a tree. Kim Jong-hoon complied and threw the acorn under the tree. After a while, a hidden monster appeared, a tyrant squirrel. Kim Jong-hoon was surprised. Why was the squirrel so huge? Kang Jin-ho said that with his current stats, Karp would not lose to this monster. This squirrel uses a cheat trick to block leveling up, so the player will have to make every effort to catch it. Kim Jong-hoon remembered wondering why he was only able to level up once after defeating a level 35 goblin. He was outraged. How dare this monster interfere with his training? This was tantamount to signing his own death warrant. Now the squirrel would be destroyed. Kim Jong-hoon received a hidden item, an acorn, but he was not impressed. Kang Jin-ho said that this was not the end. The acorn had to be planted in the ground and watered with water from the fountain. Kim Jong-hoon thought that the acorn was not a hidden item at all. It grew into a huge tree with a hollow. The celestial demon told the player to put his hand in the hollow, where a hidden dungeon called Giant Squirrel's Nest was discovered. The celestial demon asked if the player was ready to sweep away all the hidden items in his path. Some dungeons have a random rating. Although the monsters do not change, much stronger creatures may appear instead. Everyone knows that there is a 6-tier rating system in the game, but in fact there are 3 more ratings above legendary. These ratings are extremely rare. Among them are epic and mythical. Kim Jong-hoon asked what other third rating exists besides epic and mythical. Kang Jin-ho replied that he didn't know either. Until recently, he thought that mythical was the highest. However, he recently received hints about the existence of an even higher rank. The Heavenly Demon said that he followed the clue and entered a certain dungeon. At that moment, his real body ascended to heaven, and his soul was locked here in the form of an NPC with 0 stars. Kim Jong-hoon said that it sounded very sad. Kim Jong-hoon received the title Discoverer of the Legendary Rating. The monsters in this dungeon are significantly stronger, the structure has become more complex, and the number of traps has increased. Is the player ready to enter the dungeon? The protagonist was indignant. Our hero said that being in a legendary rating dungeon is not the best situation. The Heavenly Demon was surprised. Why does he think so? Kim Jong-hoon replied that the stronger the monster, the higher the probability of failing an attack in the dungeon. The Celestial Demon confirmed that such situations occur quite often. Nevertheless, would Kim Jong-hoon still go to the dungeon? Our hero agreed and said that they needed to hurry. Kang Jin-ho was surprised. Why did the notification window show Kim Jong-hoon as the first to enter the dungeon, and not him, who already knew about the dungeon? Our hero suggested that in this time cycle, the Heavenly Demon was unable to enter the dungeon. Kang Jin-ho confirmed that this was correct and explained the reasons. First, there is a level restriction, level 5 and below. In this cycle, he first went through other dungeons, and therefore his level is higher than 5. Kim Jong-hoon asked why Kang Jin-ho didn't come here first, but went to another dungeon instead. Was it because the rewards were better there? Or did he decide to be reborn as a better strategic leader, hinting at NPC endings? Maybe he deliberately went through the dungeon at this stage. Kang Jin-ho replied that it wasn't serious, but there was a second reason. Suddenly, a huge squirrel appeared and rushed at Kim Jong-hoon at high speed. The Sky Demon said he would reveal the second reason. If the dungeon had been rated higher than unique when it opened, he would not have been sure he could complete it. Kim Jong-hoon said that such things should be warned about in advance. The system reported that the defense ram could deal additional damage proportional to the enemy's HP and defense. Kim Jong-hoon thought the squirrel looked disgusting, more like a wild boar. It was fast and agile, but not powerful enough to cause serious damage. The Sky Demon said that if the player completes the dungeon without taking a single hit, they will be awarded the title Dungeon Clear without a single attack. Will Kim Jong-hoon be able to accomplish the task? Our hero was determined and said he was eager to complete the task. The Tyrant Squirrel used the skill Aggressive Throw, attack power and agility increased, defense decreased. Kim Jong-hoon thought that because of the defense ram effect, he couldn't strike from behind or at the legs. Our hero took out the necessary item, a small dagger. The young man looked at the monster and said that he needed to determine the point of attack. The Tyrant Squirrel was defeated. The level was raised and bonus points were awarded. Kim Jong-hoon said it was crazy fun. The Celestial Demon warned that if the player continued in the same vein, he would quickly exhaust himself. Kim Jong-hoon suggested going a little deeper, almost completely understanding the essence of the dungeon. After a while, Kang Jin-ho was surprised. In a short period of time, the hero had dealt with a large number of tyrant squirrels. Kim Jong-hoon didn't understand why only acorns were dropping. Our hero thought, shouldn't the effect of increasing the chance of items dropping be working? Why only acorns? At some point, Kim Jong-hoon received a treasure chest. Kang Jin-ho suggested that the chest was only given after completing a legendary rated dungeon. Such chests are very rare. Kang Jin-ho said that the chest rating is an upper limit, so there is no guarantee that a rare item will come out of a rare chest. Kim Jong-hoon replied that he wanted to try opening this chest. Suddenly, everything around them shook, and the walls swayed. Was an earthquake starting? The Sky Demon suggested hiding first because they needed to understand what was happening. The protagonist saw a huge squirrel near the chest and asked in surprise, "Are you sure it's not a hippopotamus?" Kang Jin-ho said that this creature was a mutated entity, many times stronger than the dungeon boss. It was a hidden mob from a legendary dungeon whose appearance was usually very rare. Kim Jong-hoon said that if it was a hidden mob, then there would be a good reward for defeating it. In that case, there was nothing wrong with it crossing their path. The Celestial Demon replied that this may be the case in other games, but here everything is different. This creature is more like a trap, so there will be no drop items. Instead, the player will receive a large number of points, allowing them to level up immediately. If they manage to win the battle, they will be awarded a title. The protagonist, of course, agreed to the duel. Kang Jin-ho said that in that case, he would reveal the creature's weak spot. Kim Jong-hoon said he would launch a frontal attack. Kang Jin-ho warned that this should not be done. If Karp attacks his opponent head-on, it is highly likely that he will die. Kim Jong-hoon agreed that it would be much better to grow slowly, striking the enemy's weak points as indicated by the Heavenly Demon, but he wanted to do things a little differently. Kim Jong-hoon said that even if he takes maximum damage, he doesn't really care, because he only wants to play games for fun. Kang Jin-ho said that this time Karp could do as he pleased. Kang Jin-ho looked at the squirrel and was very surprised. This monster had something interesting on its chest. A chest. Kang Jin-ho said that entertainment is great, but first it is worth changing tactics a little. Kim Jong-hoon agreed. He likes the idea of breaking the legendary chest more than fighting the monster face to face. The Celestial Demon said that it was very simple. The player was facing a gluttonous mob. Karp still had all the acorns he had collected so far, right? He needed to take them out of his inventory and throw them at the squirrel. Kim Jong-hoon asked where this creature's weak spot was. Could it be its back? The Celestial Demon replied that Kim Jong-hoon should look closely and pointed to the monster's fifth point. Kang Jin-ho was surprised. Why did Kim Jong-hoon freeze? He should quickly strike the weak spot of the squirrel. The monster's fifth point literally begged for the player's attack. He had to hurry, otherwise the squirrel would eat all the acorns and disappear. Then the legendary chest would be out of reach. Kim Jong-hoon apologized to the Almighty and attacked the monster where it was needed. The system reported that a perfect attack on the weak spot had been made. The mutated tyrant squirrel was defeated with one blow. Our hero, with tears in his eyes, apologized to the squirrel. Kim Jong-hoon said he wanted to change his spirit companion. Kang Jin-ho, who was indeed a real demon, no longer wanted to play the game with a madman. Kim Jong-hoon saw the chest, and his mood immediately changed. Our hero was surprised. Why was there a lock on this chest? This complicated the task. Kang Jin-ho said that a key of the same rating was required to open it. The Heavenly Demon asked what Karp was thinking about now. The protagonist used his cheat abilities and opened the chest without a key. He used his unlocking skill, and the chest was successfully opened. Kim Jong-hoon looked inside the chest and beamed with surprise. Kang Jin-ho was surprised. Could you always count on luck in this game to make the unlocking skill work 100% of the time? Kim Jong-hoon replied that there was nothing that a 10-star skill couldn't handle. The Celestial Demon said that first they needed to open the bundle from the chest and see what was inside. It turned out to be an unknown leather armor that needed to be appraised. Kang Jin-ho said that the item was quite good, but since unrated items drop in the dungeon, it would be helpful to have something with a high rating for evaluation. If you don't have a trump card, nothing will work. Kim Jong-hoon noted that the main character was not named that for no reason. Kang Jin-ho told the player to absorb everything he sees. Later, it may come to the point where he unlocks the PC system itself. A 10-star unlock skill feature has been added. Did it work again? The local demon said that the information had been updated. Now you can open the status window. Kang Jin-ho was surprised. Is there a skill that doesn't require payment? In that case, you can use the free chance provided once a day. You should try to evaluate the armor quickly. The smooth leather armor was unlocked. Kim Jong-hoon said that this armor, rated as rare, was quite a good item. Kang Jin-ho added that he was very curious to see how long Carpe's luck would last. It was time to unlock the legendary chest. Inside was an egg. The player said that he knew exactly what was inside. He was afraid of getting a trap item again. Kang Jin-ho calmly said that they would only know after evaluating what the egg was. The evaluation was successfully completed. It was an egg of the magical squirrel Tamias. Kim Jong-hoon thought that he could provoke hatching with the acorn attribute. Magic squirrels are also popular in games because of their usefulness and appeal. Even if he switched to a hidden pet or divine beast in the future, for now the magic squirrel was a good help. Kim Jong-hoon figured he needed to get as many acorns as possible right now. Our hero suggested that they deal with this quickly, as they still have a long way to go. Kang Jin-ho couldn't help but be amazed. Whatever this guy sets his mind to, he succeeds at. Kim Jong-hoon, sword in hand, said that the acorns were on their way. Kim Jong-hoon attacked the squirrel in the rear again and repeated that he had committed a completely shameful act. He couldn't tell anyone what was going on in his heart. Kang Jin-ho said that this guy scared him. The system reported that the player had defeated the dungeon boss, the giant squirrel. The player completed the dungeon without taking a single hit. Now he can receive quests from kindred spirits. The dungeon raid is complete. In the end, all the attributes turned out to be acorns. Kim Jong-hoon wondered what to choose: blueberries, oranges, or strawberries. Kang Jin-ho suggested choosing pistachios. The celestial demon said that if Carp couldn't decide, he should first get a profession and then think about his choice. After completing all the quests of the kindred spirit, he would be able to choose from 3 suitable professions. Kim Jong-hoon said that he was facing a standard kindred spirit who was breaking the rules. Kang Jin-ho asked if Carpe knew how a profession was assigned. Our hero replied that he doesn't know, but there is one thing he knows for sure. Somehow, everything is definitely glory and merit. He has a feeling about it. The player is given a profession quest from the kindred spirit. The most friendly relationship possible is established between the player and the kindred spirit. Our hero said that the heavenly demon is indeed an excellent kindred spirit. As expected, the foundation is important in any endeavor. After all, that was the meaning behind the choice given. Kang Jin-ho apologized. Kang Jin-ho said that the player's profession tends to be chosen in proportion to the rank of the kindred spirit, but his rank is 0, so this group of professions has its limitations. The heavenly demon added that Carp could also receive quests from other NPCs or acquire another profession by earning achievements. It is also possible to take advantage of the fastest quest, which is available from level 45. Kim Jong-hoon decided that this kindred spirit had completely lost his mind. Kang Jin-ho suggested leveling up by digging in the garden and fishing. He won't do that. The celestial demon told the young man to calm down. He would provide him with good items. First, he needed to focus on the hidden quest, which was just around the corner. He would put whatever he could get his hands on in his inventory and set off. The starting city is Leysen. Kim Jong-hoon saw the player tell the old man that he had obtained the jackal skin he had requested. The old man was very grateful. He said that the next quest was a pack of wolves on the edge of the forest. Our hero reminded the heavenly demon that if he managed to meet the junk dealer, he could randomly receive something from him. Kang Jin-ho confirmed this. The player will be given something from the flea market, and sometimes something incredibly valuable can be found. The heavenly demon told the young man that he could see a junk dealer on the corner of the church. The old man asked if the young man wanted to exchange items. The system reported that the hidden NPC junk dealer had offered a deal. At that moment, other players ran up to the junk dealer. They shouted that someone was already standing in front of the old man. But here, you can accept quests at your own discretion. Kang Jin-ho thought that these were the scoundrels from the Mammonism Guild. However, they were too late. Before they got there, he had to quickly take the reward and leave. Kim Jong-hoon said that he couldn't accept the quest. Kang Jin-ho was surprised. Why was the quest canceled? This was the first time this had happened in his practice. Kim Jong-hoon kept repeating to the old man that he was accepting this quest, that he agreed. The old man asked if the player had a god he worshipped. The player discovered a hidden quest to change professions from the junk dealer, descendant of the Spell King. The junk dealer asked if the young man would mind if they moved to another place to talk. Kim Jong-hoon said he would gladly follow the old man. The heavenly demon thought that this was nonsense again. Could something like this be hidden behind the mask of the junk dealer? The representatives of the Mammonism Guild missed this quest. Kang Jin-ho said that from now on, Carp should talk to himself. When he talks to himself among users, they may think that he is muttering to himself or broadcasting, but NPCs are not capable of making such conclusions. The old man greeted the stranger and said his name was Drek Stein. He is a representative of the Akram Empire. The young man must have wondered why he was pretending to be a junk dealer and where he was spending the coins he had collected. If the player passed the first stage of selection, he could get the answer. After all, the player has no god to serve, right? It is the gods who tempt strangers with a sweet temptation called power. Kang Shin Ho thought, is the old man talking about creatures like him? Are there NPCs that are hostile to kindred spirits? It turns out that even in the information he had accumulated over 10 years, there were far more gaps than he could have imagined. The old man said that the player must be benevolent and not succumb to the temptations of these evil creatures. Our hero said that he had a kindred spirit, the god he served. The old man looked at the information board and told the player to wait a moment. The junk dealer told the player not to worry. As soon as he passed the test, he would be given a very good shaman. Kang Jin Ho was indignant. If he had 0 stars, could he be considered a kindred spirit? The old man invited the player to join them. The descendant of the spellcasting king was of epic class, a special rating given to elements that have a huge impact on the game universe. The spellcaster king. The backstory is activated after accepting the quest. 800 years ago, after uniting the scattered territories of the continent for the first time, he became the first emperor to found the ancient empire of Akram. His efforts brought peace to the continent, but not for long. Something invaded the empire. The old man said that it was a bunch of false gods, creatures that players call kindred spirits. Kim Jong-hoon was surprised. Could it be that the kindred spirits that players believe in so much were actually aggressors? The old man said that the country was torn apart. Many people died, but it wasn't just Akram that suffered. After a long and bloody battle, the spellcasting king sealed all the kindred spirits in his heart. However, the king died, leaving some preparations for future generations. Hundreds of years passed and the seal began to slowly crumble. The spiritual essence of those wicked people invaded the continent, and they changed history, becoming beings revered by people like gods. Those vile creatures are trying to engulf the continent again, using strangers, the so-called false messengers of God. The old man said he was asking the stranger for help. The old man asked the young man who he really was. Our hero never thought that beating up the bloodthirsty in order to steal coins would be so useful. As for the second point of this stage, help came from a ninja who definitely had more than one kindred spirit. Such background events are completely out of place in a beginner city. The old man was surprised. Could it be, as the prophecy said, that this guy was the very hero who was supposed to save the world? He told the player to follow him. The third and final stage of the selection would take place elsewhere. There was a decisive reason why the empire fell under the onslaught of the invaders. It was because of the betrayal of some of the leaders. After the bitter defeat, the king realized that his descendants must have a strong will that would remain unshakable in the face of the temptations of those creatures. The old man told the heroes to stand on the magic circle. From this moment on, he will tell them about the final stage of selection that the player will have to go through. The time limit was 1 minute. If the player could hold out, they would pass the test. The ancient magic circle was activated. The old man wished them luck. Kim Jong-hoon told his kindred spirit that all this was a bit unusual. The system reported an abnormal status. The player was mired in pride, and all buffs were removed. Kang Jin-ho said that this was a barrage of debuffs called the 7 deadly sins. Even in this balanced world, everyone survives as best they can. The 10-star skill Unlock was activated. All abnormal statuses were removed. The Change Profession quest from the junk dealer has been completed. The hidden class, Descendant of the Spell King, will be changed to Spell Lord. The system congratulated the player on successfully completing the test. Our hero didn't mind, but why so fast? Kang Jin-ho said that in 10 years of playing the game, he had never managed to obtain a mythical rank profession. This guy got everything on a silver platter on his first try. I'm speechless. Our hero wanted to test the skills of his new profession first. The old man said it was incredible. The king's spellcaster. Now they had a new lord, the master of Akram. Our hero was asked to open the box. Inside the box was a magical weapon used by the king, Enigma. The weapon resembled gloves in shape, but acted like a wizard's staff. The player's mission was to pass on the things that the spellcaster king had left behind to his successor. Kim Jong-un was surprised. Could this be the legendary rating? He wanted to try them out as soon as possible. The old man said he liked the player's enthusiasm. To face a powerful enemy, one must be well prepared. The scenario for the quest Relics of the Spell King has been activated. The old man said that while the player was searching, he would continue his research here. The old man said he was studying the coins that belonged to the strangers. This is the only clue linking the strangers to the false gods. Kim Jong-un told Dreku that he could help him with his research. The young man with a smartphone in his hand said that all the broadcasts had been very boring lately. There was nothing new. He saw a quest related to the horns of the leader of a herd of deer. The young man said that some newbie must have filmed and posted such a video. The young man watched the video and thought it was all nonsense. How can one person deal with the bloodthirsty alone? Who is he? Is this really an exchange? Is there really such an NPC in the game? Is this really a hidden quest video in front of him? Kim Jong-un said that he edited and uploaded the video according to his instructions. Kim Jong-un was surprised. 400,000 views. Everyone went crazy. Kang Jin-ho said that all this was happening because of the uploaded video. Karp became a superstar in one morning. Maybe he'll think about getting serious about streaming? Our hero said he did it only to provide Drek with coins. Kim Jong-un asked the heavenly demon if everything was okay with him the day before, if anything special had happened. The day before, Kang Jin-ho, glancing at the timer, said that time had flown by quickly. Karp had only 30 minutes left. Our hero said that more than 9 hours of the maximum 10 hours of playtime had already passed. His first day of play was intense. Kang Jin-ho said that he wondered what would happen to him when Karpe left the game. He was no longer responsible for several players, unlike other kindred spirits. He only had Karpa. The heavenly demon told Karp not to abandon him or leave him. Kim Jong-un was surprised. Why did Kang Jin-ho start acting like this? The heavenly demon told Karpe to get rid of the time limit using his skill. If he regressed to the past in this game, then Karp would not receive the mythical class. Our hero did not think that something like this would happen. Fortunately, after Kim Jong-un left the game, his existence was not erased and he did not regress. Kang Jin-ho said that he was simply thrown into a room. The room where he played computer games before he was stuffed in there as a kindred spirit. He couldn't go outside the room or use any electrical devices like a computer. Maybe it was something like a space created based on memories. Nevertheless, he was glad that the location was not as strange as it could have been. If he got bored, he could quietly read something. Kang Jin-ho noticed that more and more people were gathering in the square. It was time to take action. The young people found themselves in a forest. It was quiet here, and there were no representatives of the bloodthirsty ones. Kang Jin-ho assumed that they had gone into hiding along with the Mamanism. Kang Jin-ho told the player to open the status window. Our hero looked and felt a slight pang of conscience. Kang Jin-ho said that if the player intended to continue broadcasting, it would be better to hide all information about himself. After that, the young people looked at the skills window. Magical engineering, elemental mastery, elemental arrow, striking blow. Kim Jong-un opened an item from his inventory related to the skill magical engineering. Our hero couldn't believe it. It turned out that acorns glow. The system suggested synthesizing magical materials using magical engineering. Kang Jin-ho decided that it was some kind of production skill. Apparently, the spellcasting king was also good at alchemy. The player managed to pull out a really valuable skill. As soon as word of this spread, guilds would line up in front of Karp to get him on their side. Our hero thought that the organization was just a bunch of weaklings. The strongest would cross the desert alone. The system suggested synthesizing the materials in the inventory. Kim Jong-un thought that the interface was quite simple and could be used intuitively. Kim Jong-un thought that for starters, he could only put 2 items inside. Maybe he could try combining the acorns of flame and ice. Kim Jong-un said that he had chosen his profession primarily to reduce the number of attribute options for his pet. But what should he do if, on the contrary, there were now even more options? There were now a lot of elements, and the system offered various synthesis options. But how could such things be mixed? Kang Jin-ho thought he should stop this player. But in all his 10 years of regression experience, he knew nothing about the unlock skill, the spell lord, or magical engineering. Kim Jong-un told the heavenly demon not to deceive him. He himself knew nothing and almost turned him into a farmer. Why did he need such a talentless spirit? He wanted to change it. The heavenly demon said that Karp was doing something wrong. First, he needed to moderate his enthusiasm and put only 2 pieces. What would he do if he lost all his acorns in case of failure? Our hero apologized. Kim Jong-un laughed and said he couldn't pass up such fun. The heavenly demon thought that this guy would respond exactly like that. The synthesis process was launched. The result was a natural acorn with a legendary rating, a primitive fragment with an epic rating. It all started with the foundation of all existence, a fragment in the shape of an acorn containing the energy of the beginning. Kang Jin-ho continued to wonder, why did this guy already receive an epic rating? In this situation, all the value of the previous 10 years of existence was negated. Kim Jong-un was surprised when he realized that it was an attribute stone. Could he apply it to the magic squirrel's egg? Was he doing everything right? Kang Jin-ho thought that Karp understood everything perfectly. The heavenly demon asked why Karp was even asking if he was doing so well on his own. Karpi had already grown up, and such a big boy didn't need the help of some worthless kindred spirit. Kim Jong-un said that the heavenly demon was talking nonsense. After all, it was he who had to learn everything. Our hero added that without the heavenly demon's help, he wouldn't have been able to get into the dungeon or get the epic-rated acorn. It would have been the same with the hidden quest. It was thanks to him that he was able to get the mythical-rated profession. The system reported that the hatching conditions had been met. Did the player want to trigger hatching now? The system reported that the race of the object had been changed from a magical creature to a fantasy species. A small animal appeared. Kang Jin-ho said that if you didn't take into account its black fur, the animal looked like a very ordinary magical squirrel. The system reported that the player must choose a name for the pet. Kang Jin-ho said that there was no need to waste time looking for a name with some special meaning, and that they could choose something simple. Recently, the animal had been constantly saying QQ. Maybe they should name it that? Kim Jong-un thought it would be better to ignore these recommendations. The protagonist said he had decided on a name for the squirrel. He would call it Churnish. The celestial demon told Karp to stop fiddling with that ball of fur. It was time to move on. He needed to test his skills as soon as possible. Our hero was surprised. Didn't reaching level 10 mean the end of his stay in the beginner city? Kang Jin-ho replied that once the 10th level was confirmed, the player would be able to receive a quest from a kindred spirit and would be granted the right to leave Laysan. He must declare his intention to leave to the head of Kedlak at the town hall, and he will send the young man to the mainland. However, the recent trend is for players to stay in Laysan a little longer rather than rushing off. This is because there is still much to experience here. The player has acquired absolute mastery of the sword and magical skills. The protagonist said that these were very wise words spoken by the heavenly demon. The heavenly demon said that the quests on the mainland are more difficult. Therefore, there are those who stay and use their skills, and there are those who set off on a long journey to reach the end of the scene. It was for those who stay that a separate mob boss was developed. Kim Jong-un thought that a mob boss would be perfect for his final exam. In that case, they would have to go to Laysan's Cave of Horror in search of the Hell Monster. The young people arrived at the cave of the Hellish Monster. Kim Jong-un said that they had arrived at their destination. Our hero noticed that there were a lot of players here. Kang Jin-ho said that this was the second place on the list where users gathered outside the city. The first was a place associated with the horns of a deer herd leader. They had already been there. The players discussed a video uploaded the day before that made it into the top 10. The conversation was about a quest related to barter. One player said that he went to the place shown in the video, but didn't find any NPCs there. The video location changes every time. Another player asked if the guy really wanted to ask that newbie to be his partner. Did he really think that a guy who had single-handedly dealt with the bloodthirsty would want to deal with someone else? Kang Jin-ho said that Karpi was a local celebrity. Would he agree to team up with him at least once? Kim Jong-un replied that he didn't want to become a local celebrity. Our hero approached the cave of the Hellish Monster alone. Kang Jin-ho said that this dungeon is for temporary clearing. There is a system at the entrance that updates records. You can go up and open the statistics. Kim Jong-un said that the interface here is quite simple. Everything is easy and intuitive. However, some players had their profile access blocked if they decided to close their information. One of them was the heavenly demon. Half a year has passed, but no one has been able to knock him off the top spot. Although the player in second place is very promising, second place went to God of Battle Overthrower. Our hero thought he had heard that name somewhere before. The players present said that someone was coming out of the cave. It seemed that some player had managed to clear the dungeon. One of the players said, "They finally caught the little dog." Minsu, Kwansu, and Jongsu reappeared. Kim Jong-un said that he only saw familiar faces in front of him. Kim Jong-un said that there was a reward for making it onto the top list. Kang Jin-ho admitted that the reward wasn't very good. The list engraved on the stone was much more important. If you set a decent record, you could easily join the Guild of Great Merma Masters in the future. The Heavenly Demon said that even if Karp was not interested in such things, as a player with ambitious intentions to become famous, he would want to take up the challenge because these records were eternal. Kim Jong-un confirmed his desire to enter the Hell Monster Cave as a solo player. The system announced that the Hell Monster would be summoned in 3 minutes. It was time to prepare for battle. The timer began its countdown. There was nowhere to hide and nowhere to run. The location was perfectly suited for a boss battle. Our hero had the gloves of the Lord Enchanter and the sword Greenskin Destroyer. The young man said that this was the perfect place to test his abilities. The system announced that the Hellhound, the Hell Monster, had been summoned. Kang Jin-ho said that the Hell Monster was a mob with the Flame attribute. Did the player understand what its weakness was? Kim Jong-un said he understood and warned Chernish to get ready to go out. Kim Jong-un told Chernish to cast a magic spell on his weapon using the Ice attribute. Chernish activated the integrated skill. It increases the magic damage dealt by 8 attributes. This skill also gives the weapon one of the 8 available attributes. Kim Jong-un said that this was a buff skill, a striking blow. This skill increases the physical damage dealt by the weapon to the target. The battle began, and our hero rushed into the attack. The hellish monster growled loudly and activated an intense flame. Kim Jong-un saw his opponent and immediately jumped aside. Our hero said that this dog was very slow. The celestial demon thought that if he added various items and title effects to Karp's current agility, it would only be a matter of time before he began to understand how to act without any advice. The dog activated its hellfire breath and continued its attack on its opponent. Kim Jong-un felt confident and said that this dog, by attacking, was begging to be destroyed as soon as possible. Our hero jumped high into the air and, swinging his sword, prepared to deliver a decisive blow to his opponent. Karp declared that as the dog wished, he would send it to heaven right now. The system announced that the player had defeated the Nightmare of Newbies, the cause of moaning. Hellish Monster. Karp thought that he had defeated his opponent too quickly. One of the players felt that nothing was going right for him today. He couldn't get a team together. Looking at our hero, this guy decided it was worth trying to persuade him to join his team. It was clear at first glance that he was a newbie, so he could be used as cannon fodder. One of the players present reported that a bug had been detected in this dungeon. What was going on here? Kang Jin-ho asked Karp how he could strike an enemy as soon as he showed weakness. Our hero replied that he had gotten a little carried away. He had planned to test other skills and did not expect the dog to die so quickly. For defeating the hellish monster, the player received the skin of a hellish chain dog and a core of hellish flame. Only 2 items and no equipment? Kang Jin-ho said that it was not worth being greedy. Initially, the hellish monster does not drop any equipment, and in general, it is very rare for anything to drop. The protagonist was surprised. Where did Chernish run off to? Chernish immediately understood what to do and found a hidden Easter egg. 40 gold coins were obtained. 10 beginner's recovery potions were also obtained. The system reported that the player also received a beginner's strength elixir. Kang Jin-ho advised Karpa if he had already drunk everything, it was time to set off. The young people arrived in Layson. Our hero said that it was always very noisy here. The harsher the reality, the more lively the game should be. The Last Savior is a game that perfectly satisfies the desire to escape from reality. Kang Jin-ho said that it was no coincidence that the number of users exceeded 500 million. Our hero admitted that at the beginning of the opening, everyone was excited about this game. Now the reason becomes clear. This is a place where people, society, and life exist. Not just a game space where monsters are hunted with swords and magic. The so-called other world is Lhasa. Once you set foot on the mainland, the story changes immediately. PK characters are allowed in most areas. When users from all over the world gather, even the slightest carelessness cannot be tolerated. Kim Jong-un asked Kang Jin-ho if they would definitely be able to send them to the mainland this year. The head replied that the players should not worry. There are no special procedures, so they will be able to move to the mainland in 5 minutes. One of the players said that today was the release date of the Kindred Spirit app. It must be installed immediately after exiting the game. If you miss a notification from your Kindred Spirit, you will have to shed many bitter tears. Kang Jin-ho said that Kindred Spirit is not able to notify users about every quest that appears, because compared to the number of users, the number of Kindred Spirits is negligible. One kindred spirit can have hundreds of thousands of users under its wing. That is why this app was created. Kim Jong-un said that one thing was now clear to him. This app would not change the fundamental situation. Laysan Kedlak, the head of Laysan, was interested in whether the players were going to leave Laysan. If they leave this city, it will be very difficult to return. Are they okay with that? Kedlak realized that he was looking at the very hero who had defeated the hellish monster. Kim Jong-un noticed that the head had a frightening expression on his face. Kedlak said that he couldn't send the hero, who had worked so hard for the good of the city, away empty-handed. The young man had to accept a small gift. Our hero received Kedlak's carpentry gloves, rated as heroic. Kedlak said he would like to talk more, but there are people waiting for their turn. So the conversation is over. Now that the portal is open, players can travel to the mainland city of Luang. Kedlak added that the gods would bless the player's journey. Once in Luang, our hero said that it was a completely different level. Kanchin Ho admitted that Luang was indeed huge. It is not for nothing that it is one of the three main cities of Lhasa. Due to its high population density, there are many hidden quests, attractions, and delicious food here. Carpe told the celestial demon that they still had unfinished business. Kang Jin-ho thought that this guy also had an excellent memory. Kim Jong-un reminded him that the kindred spirit had mentioned special skills. Ordinary skills can be acquired naturally in various ways during the game, while special skills can only be learned through a kindred spirit. If the relationship between luck and the kindred spirit is the most important factor, then this is confirmation of their shared history. Kim Jong-un said that they get along very well and showed maximum sympathy, so he wants to get a special skill. Kang Jin-ho felt ashamed at that moment and wanted to bury his head in the sand. The heavenly demon told our hero that he could, of course, grant him a special skill. However, this special skill would have the same rank as the kindred spirit, 0 stars. Kang Jin-ho added, in addition, skills are usually determined by the profession of the kindred spirit. What kind of worker does the young man represent to the heavenly demon? Kim Jong-un thought, maybe he is an unemployed person who traded his life for Lasu. Kang Jin-ho said that Carpe understands everything perfectly, although these words hurt him. Kang Jin-ho agreed to try, but the player should not expect anything worthwhile. Kim Jong-un said he was looking forward to the 0-star skill that the unemployed person would give him. The system reported that a quest had been received from a kindred spirit to obtain a special skill. The relationship with the kindred spirit was at its limit. The quest was sold automatically. The player received the special skill, repeat 0 stars. The quest was repeated 33 times. Kim Jong-un said that now he really didn't understand anything. Carp and the heavenly demon thought at the same time. Could it all be because of Kang Jin-ho's regression? Kang Jin-ho said that the system was too toxic. How could it treat him this way? Kim Jong-un suggested that he calm down and check the skill description. Kang Jin-ho said that from this moment on, they would have to figure out exactly which repetition they could perform. First, they needed to catch the first mob they came across and test the skill on it. Perhaps that way they would understand something. A lightning bolt was activated on the coast of Luana. The monster affected by this skill screamed loudly. The system reported that the player had destroyed Merman. The level was raised and bonus points were awarded. After a while, Kim Jong-un said that he had already reached level 12, but still hadn't found any clues. The protagonist stated that all possible options for using the skill had been tried, but nothing had worked. Kang Jin-ho said that there was nothing to worry about. There was no need to rush. For now, they could continue with the quest. Kim Jong-un suggested that in this quest, they should first find the NPC. The system said that they needed to find Gaius, but how could they find an NPC in such a huge city with only a name to go on? You have to pay the price for a mythical rating. Kang Jin-ho asked if Carpe was refusing to complete this quest. Our hero said that quite the opposite was true. His desire to complete this quest had grown even stronger. The information was updated, and now the location of Gaius is displayed on the mini-map. Gaius is a gravedigger who should be in the cemetery behind the western gate. Our hero was surprised that he was able to obtain the necessary information so easily. Where was the charm of an exhausting search? Kang Jin-ho objected that an easy solution to a problem was a good thing. Those who try to complicate their lives from the very beginning are like perverts. Our hero used the portal at the eastern gate and found himself on the opposite end of the city, at the cemetery near the western gate. Straight ahead, our hero saw a hut and assumed it belonged to Gaius. Kim Jong-un knocked, opened the door, and apologized for the disturbance. He immediately smelled the scent of lemon coming from inside. The owner asked, "Is the smell too strong?" But he hoped for understanding. It was the only way to get rid of the stench of death. The gravedigger Gaius asked what had brought the guest to such a gloomy place. Our hero thought he needed to say something. Maybe he should just ask for information about the legacy of the spell-casting king. Gaius saw the gloves on the guest's hands and said he couldn't believe his eyes. The old man said that Gaius, a resident of the Akram Empire, welcomes the descendant of the Spell King. The system announced that the quest, Legacy of the Spell King, had been completed. A follow-up quest would be issued. Kim Jong-un thought that these quests were completing themselves. He didn't even have to do anything. Gaius expressed his joy at finally being able to give the descendant of the ruler a relic that had been passed down in his family from generation to generation. Gaius said that the relic left by the Dark Spell King was hidden not far from here, in the center of the cemetery. This place is called Luan's Pit. Originally, Luan's Pit was a place that did not exist. The people of Akram secretly guarded the king's relic here. However, about 150 years ago, a city called Luan was suddenly built, and the local lord designated this place as a cemetery. From that moment on, a problem arose. The king's relic contained powerful mana. As corpses began to accumulate around it, the undead began to rage. Kang Jin-ho thought that the first relic he received in the starting city was Enigma. Probably the next relic would be of a similar level. Those without any power were unable to fight, so they settled here as gravediggers to watch over this place. At some point, the energy of death became so strong that it became almost impossible to enter the ruins. Gaius noticed that with a few ingredients, he could create an artifact that would protect the player from the energy of death. There is a seed known as a symbol of purification. It is necessary to bring the necessary ingredients from there: merman scales and a sea core. Our hero thought that he had not yet acquired the gathering skill, so he had no choice but to rely on the chance of items dropping. Kim Jong-un declared that he would definitely get the necessary ingredients. Karp decided that he should first check the rewards he had received and opened his inventory. Kang Jin-ho was surprised when he realized that the player had been given skills as a reward. Skills are usually acquired by leveling up. When you change professions, you can get one skill pack for every 5 levels. Everything is random, from which skills will appear to whether they can be exchanged. Kang Jin-ho told the player that there were 5 cards inside the package he received. The protagonist was delighted. However, only one could be chosen. The protagonist was upset. Kim Jong-un said he was ready to start the lottery. After laying out the cards, the young man said that now all that was left to do was make a choice. The main thing was to avoid skills with 2 or 3 stars. The system announced that the player had received a card with the 2-star skill, Lightning Bolt. Kang Jin-ho thought that there were days when Karp reacted appropriately. Our hero was extremely upset. Kim Jong-un wondered why there was no second chance. Kang Jin-ho explained that the moment the player drew a card, the other cards would disappear. The system reported that the skill had been activated. The heavenly demon was surprised. What was that? Could the skill really be activated in such situations? Tama suggested. The protagonist now understood the essence of the repeat skill. The company's employees monitor the PC, but none of them have the authority to interfere with the game. Surprisingly, the game continues to function. Kang Jin-ho was surprised. Was Karp really going to throw away this chance? Kim Jong-un denied it. Kim Jong-un said he was going to find out if the essence of the skills hidden behind the cards was changing. Was there a reshuffle? How many times could repeat be used? Our hero found out that the skills do not change, and their arrangement also remains the same. The heavenly demon suggested continuing to draw cards until something worthwhile came up. Kim Jong-un said he would do so and chose another card. The system announced that the player had received a card with a 7-star skill, Holy Sacrifice. Kang Jin-ho thought that this was no joke. After all, this was a new Holy Sacrifice. Holy Sacrifice, also known as Sacred Grenade, is the strongest skill in the Holy Attribute series when dealing cards. The higher the total MP, the greater the damage dealt. If the skill is applied to a moral or demonic mob, the damage will be colossal. Unfortunately, it was a one-time skill that would be deleted after use. Kang Jin-ho said that it was still in demand. If the young man registered it at auction, this skill would go under the hammer. In that case, one could try to open bidding. Kim Jong-un decided that he was still glad that Kang Jin-ho had become his kindred spirit. The protagonist decided to divide the estimated amount by the number of chicken sets, and his head spun. Kim Jong-un said that he had experienced difficulties due to the lack of money in his gaming wallet. But now everything could work out for the best. Thanks to his kindred spirit, he could now enjoy luxury. Kang Jin-ho agreed that the money issue could be a stumbling block for the player. Kang Jin-ho said that the player no longer had to worry about money. The only thing he needed to do was focus on the game. First of all, he needs to buy a gaming capsule. Does Kim Jong-un have enough space at home to put it? It would be better to get permission from his parents first. Kim Jong-un said that since starting middle school, he has lived alone most of the time. His parents are involved in volunteer work abroad and are now being sent to East Timor. Kang Jin-ho said that if Carpe himself had no objections, then the matter was settled. The Heavenly Demon thought that this player's unconventional thinking might be something genetic. First, you need to register an account with the auction house, then buy a capsule. The assistant said she was ready to help resolve the visitor's issue and added that he could register his account details here to use the auction house's services. The girl told the player to place his hand on the sphere in front of him. As long as there is a system of transactions between users in the game, there will inevitably be monetary transactions. The PC directly manages cash brokerage operations to prevent fraud between users. Kim Jong-un said that he had always wondered if he could earn money to pay for his subscription by selling something. Now he understands how it works. The assistant said that the registration of information was complete. From now on, the player can put items up for auction. Kim Jong-un asked his kindred spirit if this made any sense. After all, he had no achievements anyway. The girl said that the download was complete and was very surprised when she saw the rank that had been assigned to the player. The assistant congratulated our hero on being assigned the black rank. Kim Jong-un asked what that meant. Players are divided into 6 ranks: black, diamond, platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. This concept is similar to a credit rating, so it can be considered a special rank. The criteria for evaluation is how much of an impact the player has made in the PC world. Kang Jin-ho said that the crystal ball had calculated significant progress, called the mythical rating. The girl said that all registration procedures had been completed. From now on, the player can use any branch of the central office. Our hero couldn't believe that he had made such a huge contribution to the game. The assistant said that it was an honor for her to work with the creator of the new history of PC. The young man can enjoy the game for a long time. The protagonist thought that it was not for nothing that PC was called Another World. Kim Jong-un said that no one would give him a game capsule for free just because he had a black discharge. Kang Jin-ho agreed. Our hero noted that he did not have that kind of money. Kang Jin-ho said that now his kindred spirit would give him a quest related to finding treasure. As soon as he found the hiding place, he could take as much as he needed at the moment. Kim Jong-un approached the office building and thought he had reached his destination. For some reason, the protagonist knew the code to open the safe. Opening the safe, the young man found a bag stuffed full of money. The bag contained a huge amount of money. The young man thought, "Isn't Kang Jin-ho a real madman?" Our hero thought that the more he looked, the more absurd the situation seemed to him. There was even gold in the bag of money. Kim Jong-un asked the Heavenly Demon, "Did he really hide so much money in the locker room of a sports center? Why take such a risk?" After all, the bag could have been stolen. Kang Jin-ho said that there was no better place to store valuables. If you buy long-term passes, there is no risk that someone will track the accounts and steal the money. The most important thing now is to prepare the equipment. You need to buy a capsule. The PC branch in Korea is a store that sells gaming capsules. Shin Bo-hyun, the premium goods sales manager, thought that for the 3rd day in a row, there was no end to the stream of visitors. It was all because of the free Apollo test drive. Why are only insolvent buyers gathering here? Shin Bo-hyun looked at our hero and thought that there was no profit to be made from him. The sales manager said that the Apollo test drive event was over. If a visitor wants to test drive a car, they can come back tomorrow. Kim Jong-un said he wasn't interested in that. He came here to buy an Artemis. After the manager confirmed that the visitor was a black customer, our hero asked if the company representative could deliver and install everything today. He would pay right away. The Artemis gaming capsule is related to the Apollo gaming capsule, which has the best characteristics among PC gaming machines. Artemis is the brainchild of PC developers, and only 3 units are available for sale in Korea. After a while, our hero told his kindred spirit that the gaming capsule had been delivered and installed in less than an hour. Kang Jin-ho said that there was no need to worry, as with money, you can do a lot. Kang Jin-ho said that after Carpe left, the little animal stayed with him the whole time. The main thing is that the summon works without glitches. Kim Jong-un suggested that the Heavenly Demon start the quest right away. Today, he plans to get his hands on the relic of the spellcasting king. After a while, our hero brought Gaius what he had asked for. The old man assumed that the young man had to work hard, but he was able to bring not only the merman's scales, but also the C-core. Kim Jong-un said he was just lucky. The C-core was not a remarkable item. The guy asked what Chernish had in his mouth. The walking bag of luck saved him. Kim Jong-un said that Chernish had helped him a lot, so he would have to buy an acorn. Gia said that in that case, he would immediately begin crafting the artifact. It would take no more than half an hour. He asked the descendant to check for any anomalies around the pit while he created the artifact. Kim Jong-un, as always in such cases, used his unique research abilities and destroyed 5 skeletons with a single attack. The young man asked the celestial demon why the pit was so huge. The system reported that the player had reached level 14. Kim Jong-un said that he had one more level to go to get a skill pack. Maybe it would make sense to go to the dungeon after mastering another skill. Kang Jin-ho asked if it looked like carp had been deliberately taken from the hut. Kim Jong-un was surprised. Did it really look that way? Our hero decided to return to the hut. However, on the way, the young man met a bacante. The girl asked the adventurer to help her find her way. The bacante said that she was hunting undead creatures. Had the young man seen any mobs nearby? Kim Jong-un showed the girl the direction to the cemetery. Kang Jin-ho thought that Kim Jong-ho would also like girls like this. Our hero said that he just felt uneasy. The protagonist clearly smelled the lemon scent coming from the girl. Kim Jong-un thought that this wild woman smelled like blood. Our hero turned around and ran towards the hut. Now he understood what was going on. Kang Jin-ho caught up with the player and asked what had happened. Our hero said it was all about the smell. Kim Jong-un burst into the hut and saw Gaius lying on the floor. Now Kang Jin-ho understood why Carp had been sent on that pointless quest. This was the only way the game scenario could develop. The system reported that Gaius had been attacked. Those who did not like the presence of the residents of Akram made their move. Our hero told Gaius to wake up and come to his senses. The old man, bleeding profusely, said that those scoundrels had noticed his presence. The old man reached out his hand and said that this was the last thing he could do for his descendant. He asked him to fulfill Akram's will. The young man found himself holding a fragment of a crystal sphere of purification. It was a piece of a purification artifact that had been broken by an attacker. It had a weak purifying ability and was the key to obtaining the artifact of the spellcasting king. Kang Jin-ho said that there was no need to worry too much. Don't forget that this is just a game. It's just one of the events in the storyline. Kim Jong-un said he understood, but that didn't change the fact that he was extremely angry. How dare they touch his relic? Kim Jong-un approached the pit again. There were footprints on the ground that weren't there during the cleanup. Were they kindly informing him that the enemy was already inside? Kim Jong-un confirmed the entrance to the dungeon. After a while, our hero found himself at the location. It was a space filled with the energy of death. Monsters with attributes of evil and demonism were significantly enhanced. Visibility was limited due to an unknown aura. Kim Jong-un thought it was a debuff. However, thanks to the fragment of the crystal sphere of purification, the situation was tolerable. Kang Jin-ho told the player not to act rashly under any circumstances. If he died, it would all be over. Kim Jong-un checked the information board and realized that his stats had dropped significantly. Was it worth investing bonus stats in his stats? Kang Jin-ho said it was a good idea. Maybe the player should explain his plan in more detail so as not to do the first thing that came to mind. First of all, he needed to start hunting mobs. A monster appeared, an enhanced skeleton. It behaved provocatively and was asking for trouble. Kang Jin-ho determined from the red light that this monster's level was higher than the protagonist's. Kim Jong-un said he was ready to fight. Our hero activated and used a fire arrow. There was a powerful explosion. However, the monster blocked the attack. The protagonist thought that in this case, close combat would be much more effective. Another reinforced skeleton archer appeared in the combat zone. The protagonist became angry. Had they decided to attack him all at once? Hiding behind cover, the celestial demon said that the skeletons had perfect balance. One attacked, the other defended. Our hero was surprised. Whose side was the kindred spirit on? Kim Jong-un thought that he was running out of time and had no idea what the bacante who had entered the dungeon first had managed to do. Is it possible to destroy individual parts, such as horns or monster equipment, in Lhasa? Kang Jin-ho said that in this regard, players could do whatever they wanted. Kim Jong-un said that if the body is weak, it is worth straining the brain. He invests 20 bonus stats in mana. Our hero reactivated and used a fire arrow aimed at the reinforced skeleton. Kim Jong-un mentally apologized to whoever designed this dungeon, but he didn't have much time now. The system announced that the player had reached level 15. As a reward, he would receive a lower-class skill pack in his inventory. Kim Jong-un declared that now was the moment of glory for the repeat skill. The Heavenly Demon noted that the player had activated a skill related to electricity. Now he could paralyze his opponent. It was the perfect time to test it. Our hero decided to check how much time he had left. After all, they needed to move on quietly. The enemy was already waiting for them, fully armed. Kim Jong-un told the Heavenly Demon that they were already on a quest to capture the intruder. Could it be that the intruder is another player who also has their own kindred spirit? Kang Jin-ho replied that this was not the case, because there were also NPCs who had been chosen by kindred spirits. It turned out that the Bacante was an NPC who had a kindred spirit. Kang Jin-ho said that it would be difficult for a player to guess the right moment to attack. Who would just sit and wait for such an important scenario event to unfold? Kang Jin-ho said that there are many fools in PC, so it is better to keep this information as secret as possible. Kang Jin-ho thought that this was a perfect project for Carpe, who never listens to others. Kim Jong-un was surprised. Why was the Celestial Demon staring at him like that? The Celestial Demon thought that this guy would not be able to hide his identity anyway, because of his skills or weapons. Either way, this is a very important quest. Kim Jong-un must survive and finish everything properly. Kim Jong-un said that judging by the slightly open door, the person they were looking for was there. They had to continue with this game plot. The Bacante on the other side of the door said that the hero had arrived earlier than she expected. The girl said that she was extremely impatient, so she planned to wait a little longer and then just destroy everything here and leave. However, she was glad that the young man was not late. Kim Jong-un only now understood what the timer meant. It turns out that the coffin on which the girl is sitting is a box containing the relic of the spellcasting king. The girl stood up and admitted that she was sorry to destroy everything here. Although she didn't know what was inside, it was undoubtedly something extremely valuable. Kim Jong-un asked if that was why she had changed her plan. The girl said that it was important to behave properly. She should get permission from the owner and then take the item. The mad Bacante switched to combat mode. The girl asked if the young man would give her the key to open the coffin. Kim Jong-un said that the status window was so red that its appearance alone could scare anyone. The Heavenly Demon explained that such a rich color indicated a difference in levels of more than 35. It was necessary to be cautious and remain vigilant. Kim Jong-un attacked the girl. She was surprised at how agile this young man was. The sword of the heroic rank Green-Skin Destroyer was critically damaged. It could not be used without repair. Our hero was surprised. Was he really left without a weapon? Kang Jin-ho said that this NPC was created specifically for capture. She is a real monster. The Heavenly Demon noted that this girl was quite clever, and it was impossible to deal with such an opponent at the initial stage. Kang Jin-ho said that there was a hole in the middle of the coffin that was a perfect fit for the key obtained from Gaius. The Heavenly Demon clarified that the condition for completing this quest is not defeating the boss, but returning the relic. In other words, the player must somehow gain access to the coffin. Kim Jong-un realized that his task at this stage was to get close to the coffin. Kang Jin-ho said that the first thing to do was to lure the girl out. Kim Jong-un called on Chernish. The Celestial Demon was surprised. "What is this guy doing?" Kim Jong-un said he had a question. Kang Jin-ho replied, "No." The protagonist asked if it was possible to damage the monster. Kim Jong-un added, if instead of following the plan he simply beat her up, wouldn't he receive a much greater reward? The Celestial Demon was surprised. Why wasn't this guy doing as he was told? And why did he take a detour instead of going straight? Our hero thought that he was going to use all the buffs at his disposal. Chernish's skill was activated, and the legendary Enigma gloves were imbued with the attribute Darkness. The player used the skill Striking Blow, which increased physical damage. The Bacante saw her opponent's gaze and said that she didn't like it. The girl took a fighting stance and said that this nobody, left without a weapon, was running straight into her arms again. What was the point of these futile attempts? The Bacante was surprised. Why did she see the Renegade's fist right in front of her eyes this time? The system reported that an enemy with the Holiness attribute had been struck. Significant damage was inflicted on the holy forces. The girl was outraged. How dare this scoundrel touch her body? The protagonist thought that if he couldn't knock the weapon out of his opponent's hands, he should strike as many blows as possible. This was followed by a series of blows to his opponent's torso. Additional damage was inflicted. The player managed to attack the same vital point multiple times in a short period of time. The girl became even more angry and said that she would now finish off this scoundrel and tear him to pieces. Kim Jong-un activated and used a fire arrow. However, the girl dodged the attack. The protagonist was surprised. Could it be that his attack wasn't working? The girl used a 5-star automatic magic shield, a skill exclusive to priests. At first glance, it looks like a cheat trick that blocks anything, but this shield has a weakness. When dealing with 3-star skills and below, it's worth the effort. Kim Jong-un thought that his elemental arrow skill also had a 5-second recharge time. Should he just insert the key into the keyhole instead of risking his life for nothing? Our hero didn't want to miss out on all the fun. After several unsuccessful attacks, the girl said that this guy was doing useless things. Then the 5-second countdown began, necessary for the shield to recharge. Additional options for the magic weapon Enigma were activated. An ice arrow was used against the opponent, an Enigma option that allows you to use a saved skill without summoning. The girl said, did her opponent really think she could fool her dragon eyes with a smokescreen strategy? Kang Jin-ho looked closely and saw the item around her neck. It was annoying that they could see their opponent's equipment and skills. The Bacante said that this was a problem because the opponent no longer had any spells he could use. Kim Jong-un said she was wrong. He had a trump card up his sleeve. Time ran out and a powerful energy discharge appeared. Call of Thunder had been activated. Our hero told Chernish that it was magnificent. When they return, he will buy the squirrel many acorns. The Bacante thought that everything would be fine. The shield would recover before the lightning struck, so the damage would be 50%. The girl thought that her opponent's level was low and her endurance was high, so she would be able to hold out for 5 seconds. Kim Jong-un asked if she could withstand his attack. The Bacante was surprised. When did this guy manage to get right in front of her? The system reported that the player had mastered the skill Holy Sacrifice 7 stars. The girl thought that this was the strongest explosive skill, which ignites the user's MP and turns it into damage. Kim Jong-un prepared to attack and said he would send her to heaven with 1 blow. The system reported that the Bacante had been defeated and the player's level had been raised. The player crushed the one who had never been crushed. Kang Jin-ho said it was a job well done. The protagonist stated that he had defeated the boss by risking his life and hoped that there would be something worthwhile among the dropped items. Among the items was a unique fanatic scythe. The scythe destroys the enemy's technique with a certain probability when attacking. Also among the items was the dragon's eye. The dragon's eye sees through everything. Kim Jong-un said that the characteristics of both items are simply amazing. Battle priest is a fairly popular profession. Exclusive items are very rare and can be put up for auction. The young man was holding the very necklace that had been hanging around the neck of the Bacante. Kang Jin-ho said that it was a very versatile item that could be used in all content related to battle. Unexpectedly, the necklace in the skill window lit up. The magic engineering skill detected an enchantable item. Kim Jong-un thought that he could also use the necklace and chose Dragon Eye. The system reported that the enchantment could not be continued due to a lack of materials. Kang Jin-ho said that Adrian was a strong opponent and a regressor. Kim Jong-un noted that this was an insurmountable gap. Starting such a duel right now would be madness. He would have to postpone upgrading the necklace until later. Kang Jin-ho suggested checking the main quest harvest. Kim Jong-un took out the crystal shard of the sphere and approached the coffin. A bright glow appeared from inside. Kim Jong-un looked inside and thought in surprise, could these really be the relics? A wooden figurine and a red crystal? Kim Jong-un decided to check the skill card first. The skill Dresches Doll Spells was acquired, 9 stars. Kim Jong-un remembered that the description mentioned this doll. The system reported that the player had completed the quest Legacy of the Spell King, Part 2. The next quest opened. Kang Jin-ho told Karp to look back. A silhouette of a woman appeared in the beam of fire and asked, is this the very scoundrel who destroyed the apostle in this body? The system announced that the quest event God of Madness was beginning. The woman said that there was nothing worse than realizing that the place where she had awakened after so many years of sleep was this tomb. Could it be that she was standing before one of the surviving inhabitants of Akram? Kim Jong-un asked what she would do in that case. For the first time in a long time, the current world had turned into utter chaos. Wouldn't it be right for him to take responsibility for the sacrilege he had committed? Kim Jong-un thought that this divine level was something that ordinary players could not handle. Kim Jong-un decided that at least he had completed the quest, so if he died, all his efforts would not be in vain. The woman said that was ridiculous. He allowed himself to relax when he came face to face with her. Now the hour of his death had come. The soul stone reacts to the intense energy of a kindred spirit. A girl appeared who, using her unique sword, defended herself from her opponent's attack. The villain was surprised. Who was she? The girl replied that she saw no need to introduce herself to such a lowly deity. The villainess said that it was pointless. Could Akram still have such power? She believed that today would be the end of the villains from Akram. Apparently, a mistake had been made. The defender said that the villain had no right to speak about Akram with her filthy mouth. She must disappear. Kim Jong-un silently glanced at the girl. The defender looked back and looked at the young man. Kim Jong-un thought she was a blonde with blue eyes and a rather pretty appearance. The girl said her name was the first sword of the spell-casting king, Brilliant Statinia. Brilliant Statinia said that following Akram's will, she had opened her eyes here. Brilliant Statinia asked the young man if he was her master. Kim Jong-un thought this was complete madness. The girl repeated her name and added that a long name could cause delays in an emergency, so she could simply be called Tina. Kim Jong-un asked if Tina was a doll made by the spellcasting king, in other words, a homunculus. The girl confirmed this assumption. The spellcasting king created 7 dolls, each of which contained a part of his essence. They were the sorcerer king's closest aides, helping him until the final battle with the kindred spirits. Statina said that she was the first homunculus created among them. Kang Jin-ho couldn't even imagine that the title of Lord Sorcerer included summoning abilities. The heavenly demon thought that this guy was gradually becoming omnipotent. Kang Jin-ho wondered why Tina was staring at him. The girl replied that she had recently been burning with curiosity. Tina asked Kim Jong-un what was next to him. This guy looks very weak. Would the Lord mind if she dealt with him? Kim Jong-un told Tina not to do that. He would explain everything now. The girl said that now she understood everything. An unimaginable accident had happened to this guy. And when he came to, he was already in the shell of a lowly deity. Kim Jong-un admitted that this was exactly how it was. Tina said that she had insulted the military advisor who was helping her lord, both physically and morally. The girl bowed her head and apologized. Kang Jin-ho thought that military advisor sounded pretty good. Kim Jong-un decided that it would be easy to get close to the heavenly demon. The system reported that the player had completed the quest event, God of Madness. Our hero saw that the connection time had expired and decided to check the rest of the quest tomorrow. The connection was lost. Kang Jin-ho returned to his room. The young man said that the squirrel was a real mystery. Why was it following him around? Tina was surprised. Was she really in the military advisor's private office? It was a truly unusual place. Kang Jin-ho saw the girl and was startled. How did she get here? Tina said she didn't know herself. Kang Jin-ho didn't understand why everyone was coming into his room as if it were their own home. Tina said that the number of family members had increased. It was time for the raid. Kim Jong-un thought that suddenly there were a lot of people here. Karp told his kindred spirit that he had returned. The celestial demon admitted that the guy was late today, but he had been waiting for him eagerly. The system suggested entering the rare-rated dungeon, Luan's Pit. Our hero understood what changes had taken place. Because he had successfully completed the quest, this place had become a normal dungeon. Kim Jong-un asked if it was true that the heavenly demon had been appointed as the room administrator. Did he now own the living space? Kang Jin-ho replied that this was the first he had heard of such a thing and suggested opening the status window. The system reported that the player had reached the minimum number of family members. He had fulfilled the minimum requirements to unlock the room. This is a hidden feature that opens when certain conditions are met. Our hero was surprised that the heavenly demon had not received a similar bonus at the time. The system suggested moving, and the player confirmed it. Does Kang Jin-ho really call this a room? The protagonist was surprised by the size of the mansion, which looked like it had come out of a manhwa picture. But here, even Chernish and Tina are farming in the garden, which is beyond imagination. Kim Jong-un asked the girl what they were doing here. Tina replied that Chernish wanted to have his own tree, so she decided to help him with that. Creating friendly relationships between family members is one of the fundamental aspects of maintaining a healthy atmosphere in the home. Kim Jong-un said that the main thing is that they themselves like everything. Kang Jin-ho admitted that planting is limited to acorns, but later, when the room becomes larger, it will be possible to grow something more interesting. Other places included the training center and research center. Here, family members can improve their skills and experience. There was also a vegetable garden and an orchard. Here, various magical base materials could be obtained. In the mine, you can extract ore and other minerals. Tina said that there are many different places here. The girl noted that the Lord would be most interested in the door in front of him. Our hero ended up in the workshop, and he liked it. Kang Jin-ho said that since they had come here, they could try to make something. Kim Jong-hoon asked if that was really possible. The celestial demon explained that the profession of a Lord spellcaster could be classified as creative. The downside is that the level of difficulty is extremely high. You have to see everything with your own eyes. A low-quality iron ingot is given as a reward for opening the workshop room. To begin with, you need to try to create something using the magical engineering skill. The system reported that the player chose to create a chainmail sabaton. Our hero shouted that he hadn't chosen anything, that he first needed to understand how everything worked here. The system reported that production was starting. Kim Jong-hoon shouted that he would now strike the center to stop everything. The low-quality iron ingot was damaged. Kim Jong-hoon thought, was what he was doing now a game of catch the rhythm? Our hero continued this activity and tried to get into the rhythm at least once. The system reported that the player had succeeded in creating a plate sabaton with a rating of magical. The first piece of equipment had been created. Kang Jin-ho looked at these experiments and thought that rhythm was not his forte. Kim Jong-hoon decided to try creating other pieces of equipment. Tina told the Lord to follow her. The spellcasting king had achieved outstanding results in many areas, but his professional specialty was rune engraving. When the player places the created equipment on the workbench, the engraving of runes begins. A magic pencil must be used to engrave the runes. The effect of the completed rune is activated randomly. Kim Jong-hoon wondered what they wanted from him this time. And where was that pencil? Tina said she would explain the process of engraving runes to the Lord. You need to add the magic solution you got as a reward for opening the workshop. The solution is made by melting magic materials in certain proportions. The higher the frequency of the ingredients, the closer it is to silver. Next, the solution must be extracted from the glass using a pencil. Repeating this action several times until the pencil is completely filled with the solution. Kim Jong-hoon received a fountain pen, so he will have to use it. Tina said that if the Lord steps even a millimeter over the line, the item will be destroyed, but she is sure that the Lord will manage. Kim Jong-hoon thought that since the production tasks were easy compared to other quests, he was being given a bonus as a production bonus. Thanks to this, his rating increased and new options were added. Kim Jong-hoon asked where they were going again. Kang Jin-ho replied that they were going to his room. Our hero was surprised. Could he enter it too? The celestial demon confirmed this. When the room function opened, something happened to his own room. Karp must see this. Our hero's surprise knew no bounds. Why was this thing in his room? Kim Jong-hoon asked if the capsule had suddenly appeared there. Maybe it could be connected. Kang Jin-ho said that it was impossible to connect the capsule now, but he had a suggestion. As the room's functions expanded, it would be possible to connect the capsule to the network. The system reported that various objects could be installed in the room. Various items and effects could be obtained from the installed equipment, but there was no mention of the capsule. Kang Jin-ho said that there is internet access there. However, only internet platforms connected to a PC are available. Kim Jong-hoon seemed to say that he wanted to stream. After all, Karp has already posted a video from the cave of the hellish monster. The young man said that he edited and posted everything that was worth paying attention to. The heavenly demon suggested checking the views. There were a lot of views. An email address was provided. But what's wrong with the cryptocurrency window? Kang Jin-ho said that it was worth commenting on, and that all management opportunities were open to the young man. Most well-known streamers actively use the services of management. Management helps with everything from search engine optimization of posts to video editing. Kim Jong-hoon agreed that it is a pretty good service and saves a lot of time. Should they learn how to use it? Kang Jin-ho said that he could take care of all this. Our hero said that he believes in the powers of this heavenly guy. Kang Jin-ho added that the internet is accessible, so after Carpe leaves the game, he can calmly deal with issues related to streaming. Kang Jin-ho noted that the only thing Carp needs to do is to flawlessly complete the tasks assigned to him. He, in turn, will do everything possible to help. Kang Jin-ho said that if Kim Jong-hoon suddenly quits the game on a whim, all their efforts will go down the drain. Then he will remain a ghost in this game forever. Kim Jong-hoon must give him the opportunity to break out of the loop of endless regression. Lewin City. Our hero sent the items to auction, replenished his supplies, and finished repairing his sword. Now they can continue the quest. The system reported that the player cannot continue the quest, Legacy of the Spell King. The player's level is insufficient. Kang Jin-ho said that everything is obvious. Only after reaching level 35 will it be possible to attack Manada, but the player failed at level 17. Kim Jong-un said that he had to level up 8 times before the next quest. In that case, it was worth filling in the gaps in his inventory. He needed another attack skill. Kang Jin-ho said that the course was set. There was only one answer: to move on to the Sea Cave quest. This quest is the most important one in Lawan. Due to its huge rewards, it is very popular among users. It is a mandatory quest that is a great help for beginners. But there is one strange condition. Basic robes purchased from a specialty store have no abilities. To complete this quest, you need a group of at least 2 people, both of whom must be users. NPCs are not allowed. Kim Jong-un thought that in this case, he needed to team up with another user. But isn't he currently on opposite sides of the barricades with the others because of the story of the Spellcasting King? 800 years ago, the Spellcaster King became the first emperor to found the Akram Empire. The kindred spirit that destroyed Akram is the player's helper. Kim Jong-un thought that if the story was to be believed, Tina had been directly involved in this. She participated in that war against the false gods. In that case, what would happen if another kindred spirit recognized Tina? Tina said that the Lord was worrying needlessly. She added that the 7 dolls, including herself, were produced at the very end of the war. Since a secret and swift attack was launched on the enemy camp, there is simply no one among the false gods who remembers her face. Kim Jong-un said that if she was okay, he would be able to breathe a sigh of relief. The guy thought that the problem was that he had to raise this powerful cheater from the first level, but there was no other choice. Kang Jin-ho noticed that Carpe had become smaller. Was this not combat mode? The protagonist acknowledged this. It allowed him to increase his recovery speed 3-fold. Now it was time to move on to the cave. One of the players offered to keep him company in the cave for only 15 minutes. The girl asked the adventurer to find her pendant. In return, she would give him the precious cards she had collected. The player accepted the girl's request. The girl asked the messenger of the gods to help her. The protagonist thought she looked like a very ordinary NPC. However, why do some users call her Luana's angel and others demon? Kang Jin-ho said that the quality of the reward she gives can be either high or low. Our hero was curious if the entry restrictions would be lifted. The dungeon is not included in the list of things that can be unlocked. He will have to go in search of a partner to enter the dungeon. Kim Jong-un said that skills don't matter. He would prefer someone with whom he could calmly complete the quest and easily go their separate ways. Is it possible to find such a person here? The ninja asked. The god of battle is looking for a partner? Finally, they meet again. Hanzo said that this was a very fateful meeting. He never expected that they would meet like this. The ninja suggested that their connection, which arose in a past life, would not be easily broken. Kim Jong-un wondered if there might be another companion in the community. Hanzo said he was ready to provide full assistance. Hanzo turned to the god of battle. Kim Jong-un asked why this guy kept pretending they knew each other. Kim Jong-un asked if this was really the same guy from the bloodthirsty group. Hanzo was delighted that the god of battle remembered him. The ninja reminded him that he was now free as the wind because he had severed all ties with that mercenary guild. Hanzo asked if the god of battle had decided to take on the quest to find the item. The ninja asked if it wasn't better to work with someone the god of battle knew than to try to find common ground with a stranger. Kim Jong-un thought that this guy was actually a good choice for a companion. His playing style was neat, and it was thanks to him that he managed to get the profession of a Lord Spellcaster. Our hero agreed to take Hanzo as a companion. Kim Jong-un told the heavenly demon that this guy looked pretty good. Kang Jin-ho told Carpe not to show his status window to anyone. The protagonist invested his bonus points in dexterity and mana, but he still had 37 points left. Maybe he could try investing in Dresh's doll spell? Kang Jin-ho agreed that having passive buff skills would never hurt. With the remaining points, our hero wanted to master magical engineering and elemental mastery. Hanzo returned and thanked the god of battle for waiting. Now he was ready to join the team. Kim Jong-un was surprised. Was this ninja really an archer? Hanzo inquired how well the god of battle knew what the sea cave was like. Our hero said that this was his first time here, so he was not familiar with it. The ninja explained that the monsters that appear here can be considered improved versions of those that appear along the coast. However, unlike the beach, the monsters here attack first, and there are traps that are not found on the coast. Therefore, caution must be exercised. Kim Jong-un said that a monster had appeared, 3 large shells with hard shells. Not only did they successfully pop up on the horizon, but there was also an opportunity to try out the dragon's eye. Information about the target was received. Our hero thought, isn't this the basic information that is usually displayed in the status window? Hanzo said that they were just shells. He was ready to deal with this trash himself. Kim Jong-hoon replied that he had no objection. The victorious ninja activated Snow White's summon. Kim Jong-hoon wondered how far this guy's concept had gone. A wind caress appeared, a pet of heroic rank. Hanzo commanded Snow White to go into battle and activated the air cannon. Our hero thought that turning the shell upside down would completely neutralize the enemy's attack. The ninja did a good job. The victorious ninja used the invincible sword. In doing so, he hit 3 shells at once. Kim Jong-hoon said that Hanzo destroyed the enemy in the blink of an eye. He turned out to be a good fighter. Hanzo added that he was looking forward to his partner's battle with the next opponent. Kim Jong-hoon summoned Chernish and activated the Thunder Summon. Lightning shots were used. Chernish's family member defeated the magic-intoxicated mermaid. Kim Jong-hoon told the squirrel that it was a great job. Hanzo turned to the god of battle and noted that he couldn't even imagine that he also had a pet. Pointing to the doll peeking out of his pocket, he asked, "Has the god of battle changed his profession to puppeteer?" Our hero replied that it seemed to be true. The young man thought it best to remain silent. There was no telling how things might turn out. The partners approached a fork in the road. It was time to make a decision. Hanzo said they could just go right. The dungeon boss was hiding on the left. Kim Jong-hoon was surprised. Shouldn't they go there first? The reward would be pretty good. Hanzo explained that it was a very slippery creature. Their goal was to find the pendant, so they didn't need to waste their energy on the boss. Kim Jong-hoon was surprised. "Why are you suddenly so nervous?" Kang Jin-ho said that this guy's reaction was quite reasonable. The boss here is a disgusting creature in many ways. This time, it's not worth getting involved. Kim Jong-hoon said that, on the contrary, it would be fun. Our hero suggested taking a look inside and moving on. Hanzo was forced to follow him. Kim Jong-hoon said that his ears caught some kind of rustling sound. Hanzo added that the boss had arrived, that the creature was already there. The boss monster, the giant slasher, sensed the player. The partners stood rooted to the spot, while the monster moved towards them at tremendous speed. Tina appeared in front of our hero and said that as long as she existed, this creature would not be able to get close to the Lord. Our hero thanked the girl. Kim Jong-hoon wouldn't say that this monster was huge. Why were they all so scared? Kang Jin-ho covered his eyes with his hands and commented on this action. Hanzo also buried his face in the ground and said he didn't want to look at it. The protagonist didn't understand what the problem was with these two. Tina said that the monster's outer shell was very durable. The young man thanked Tina for the information. In that case, it was time to find a suitable strategy. It was necessary to activate the dragon's eye. The boss, the giant cutter, had unique skills. He possessed a wave attack with his body and had an oily outer coating. He was also capable of lightning-fast petrification. Kim Jong-hoon said that these skills were unique to the boss, something like an automatic magic shield like Manada's. Kang Jin-ho noted that the lightning petrification skill would require some effort. The protagonist thought that right now he had no weapon for an instant piercing strike or similar skills. The young man decided that for starters, he just needed to hit him hard. Our hero activated the lightning arrow and aimed it at the monster boss. Kim Jong-hoon was curious to see how much damage he had managed to inflict. Kim Jong-hoon asked Tina how long she could hold out. The girl replied that she could fight all day long. As long as she was there, the creature would not approach the Lord. Kim Jong-hoon said that in that case, he was counting on Tina. First of all, they needed to reduce their opponent's health to about 30%. Kim Jong-hoon activated the lightning arrow again. The intense attacks continued. Kino summoned the monster to herself and said that she was his opponent. Kang Jin-ho had no idea what Karp was up to, but it seemed like everything was going according to plan. Our hero declared that now was the time for the final touch. Kim Jong-hoon asked Tina if there was a spot on the top of the creature's shell that could be easily pierced with a sword. The girl said that the previous attacks had created a small gap in the upper part of the giant cutter's shell. It was quite possible to strike that spot. Kim Jong-hoon thanked the girl for the information. The young man called for the green skin destroyer. The protagonist found the gap in question. Our hero jumped up, swung his sword, and said that the monster had no options left. Kim Jong-hoon stuck his sword into the crack in the armor and jumped off the monster onto the ground. The player's mana was increased by 5. Kim Jong-hoon said, "That's what outer oil coating means," and summoned Chernish. The system reported that the giant cutter had been defeated. Kang Jin-ho said that the player used the sword as a lightning rod. It was a good idea. The player reached level 20, skill points were added. Kim Jong-hoon said that fortunately, she had mastered the elements before entering the dungeon. Kang Jin-ho praised the player. He suggested taking all the loot and moving on. Our hero said that Chernish would take care of everything. Chernish's skill is collecting instinct. He automatically collects items around the player and puts them in the inventory. Kim Jong-hoon said that they had no business left here and asked if Hanzo was okay. Hanzo apologized for appearing before his partner in such an inappropriate state. The ninja said it was time to reveal the truth. He was from the United States, and as a child, he had been bitten by a tarantula. Fortunately, the venom was not too strong, but he was found to be allergic. Hanzo added that he was taken to the emergency room and was barely revived. But since that incident, his body freezes at the sight of insects. It's a kind of trauma. Kim Jong-hoon apologized. If he had known about this tragedy, he would have come here alone. Hanzo stated that a true knight would never leave a comrade alone. If the concept dominates the brain, it is even possible to overcome trauma. The system reported that the player had received the girl's pendant. The quest is complete, and you can receive a reward from the NPC. A portal is created that allows you to move to the entrance of the dungeon or to Luang. Our hero suggested that his companion leave the dungeon. After the stress he had been through, Hanzo needed to rest. Kim Jong-hoon told Hanzo not to be ashamed of being attached to his concept. He is sure that they will meet again if the chance arises. The protagonist quickly said goodbye. Kim Jong-hoon thought that now he had 2 skill packs to unlock. It was a reward for reaching level 20 and a reward for completing the quest. Kim Jong-hoon stated without false modesty that he was a very outstanding personality. Kang Jin-ho wondered if it was necessary to go so deep into the forest to unlock some unfortunate skill. Kim Jong-hoon said that the more people there were, the higher the probability of being exposed. Kang Jin-ho admitted that this player had become overly secretive. Our hero said that he was getting tired of the arrow of the elements, so he hoped that he would find some new offensive skill in the pack. He needed to check the items that dropped after defeating the boss, and then open the skill packs. Kim Jong-hoon noticed that Chernish had a card pack in his teeth. Kim Jong-hoon said that it was a skill pack. If a normal skill is revealed, he will also be able to master it. Kang Jin-ho said he wanted to clarify one detail. In PC, skills can be used not only by users, but also by NPCs. In addition, they also receive rewards, but not for every 5 levels, but for every 10. Users receive a lower class skill pack for every 5 levels, up to the 50th. The game also provides about 8 random chances. This means that most users can get a total of 10 to 12 skills. Users who reach the 50th level will be able to undergo a second status change. And from that point on, a mid-class skill pack will appear, which will drop every 10 levels. Kang Jin-ho said that the 3rd upgrade will be possible at level 150. Kim Jong-hoon asked what the final level of this game is. Kang Jin-ho replied that his personal record was the 4th status upgrade. Tina said that before she lost all her power, she also reached the 4th status upgrade. Kim Jong-hoon looked at the status window and said he was considering selling the sword. Kang Jin-ho suggested considering the option of giving the sword to a family member. After all, a pet, a member of the family, also needs items. The protagonist said he liked the suggestion. Tina added that it was indeed a beautiful sword. The girl said that it was a great honor for her to receive such a gift from the Lord. In the future, she would continue to glorify the name of the ruler to repay his kindness. Before opening the skill pack, our hero appealed to the heavens and asked for help from all the gods of the world. Kang Jin-ho couldn't believe that a 6-star skill had dropped in the lower class skill pack. He had been playing this game for 10 years, but he had never had anything like this before. It wasn't fair. The protagonist decided to check the skills he had already mastered and open the status window. Kim Jong-hoon said he saw light at the end of the tunnel. Kim Jong-hoon reported that he had gathered almost all the necessary materials except for one. But where could he get it? Kang Jin-ho said he had one idea. To do this, they needed to catch that particular mob. At the end of the beach, under the moon, there was a hunting ground called Sea Forest. Monsters lived there. What they need is held by a field boss called the Elder Trent. Kim Jong-hoon felt his heart begin to beat faster. The Sky Demon said they wouldn't be alone there. That would be a problem. Kim Jong-hoon agreed that there were many people in the game who didn't think ahead and didn't know what to do. The Celestial Demon suggested moving to the village and preparing everything necessary for the raid. The cook told the adventurer that if he gathered sea mushrooms in the eastern forest, he would receive a good reward. The player took the quest, gathering sea mushrooms from Chef Mike. The knight said that Trents sometimes appear near the settlement, so there is concern for the local residents. Can the player help? The player took the quest, Destroy the Trent, from the guard Luana. Kim Jong-hoon noted that there are many Trents here. He sees many quests related to them. Kang Jin-ho said that this is why the sea forest will be crowded with people. Kim Jong-un thought that everyone was eager to destroy the boss. Luck also plays a major role here. An old man approached our hero and said that they hadn't seen the descendant of the spellcasting king in a long time. The old man suggested moving to another place, because there were too many ears and eyes here. Our hero found himself in the place where he passed his first test to change his profession. The old man said that Akram's humble servant was requesting an audience with the spellcaster king's first sword. Kim Jong-un thought that the spellcaster King Dresh was the founder of the country. Tina, his former right-hand woman, must also be a legend. The old man couldn't believe that he was seeing the legend of the Akram Empire with his own eyes. Even if his soul flew to heaven right now, he would have no regrets. He needed to use the memory spell to keep this moment in his heart forever. Kim Jong-un said that Drek was putting them in an awkward position. Tina didn't like his attitude. She felt like she was being mocked. Drek apologized, saying he had behaved too recklessly. But he had come here to deliver something to the descendant of the spellcasting king. A gift box appeared, which was given for reaching the 20th level. Kang Jin-ho said that this was a bonus concept, the essence of which was that a reward was given for every 20 levels. Our hero asked the heavenly demon what he thought. Would there be anything mythological in here? Our hero decided to open the box. Its contents glowed, radiating light. Grok received a special small potion from Akram. The box also contained Akram's magical robe. Our hero saw a radar there as well. It was an ancient radar restored by Akram's scientists after long research. The player received a blueprint for the radar. The method of creating the radar is recorded in the magical engineering skill. Kan Shin-ho said that special potions are more effective than their basic counterparts. Outerwear is a piece of equipment that is considered on par with a necklace or ring. All of this is quite difficult to obtain, so the player is very lucky. Among other things, the radar is an item that can be used in boss raids. If other users find out about this, they will collapse in a fit of rage. Kim Jong-un said that his problem was that he was too good. Kang Jin-ho thought that was too annoying. Drek suggested that the player liked his gifts. Drek said he had urgent business to attend to, but he would be staying in the city for a while, so the young man could come to him if he needed anything. Drek said that they had noticed the appearance of the heir to the spellcasting king. Kim Jong-un was surprised because only the residents of Akram knew the truth that he was the Lord Sorcerer. This meant that there was a traitor within Akram's secret society. Kim Jong-un said that he now had a supply of potions, so there was no need to go to the general store. Kang Jin-ho noted that in that case, they had saved a little time. Now they could go hunting for the oldest Trent. The raid mob is very strong. Kim Jong-un agreed that it was strong, but not as strong as the Mad Bacante. Kang Jin-ho reminded him that only up to 4 players in a team can participate in raids. If the team exceeds this number, it is necessary to form a core. However, the conditions for this are quite troublesome. You need to obtain permission from the local lord and pay taxes on the territory. It's more like a campaign to collect gold from users. Our hero assumed that he would only be able to go on a solo raid if he proved that he could handle alone what usually requires the participation of 4 people. He is fine with that. It's just a pity that there is no healer. He will have to rely on potions for now. The protagonist said that he would like to move forward with ease. Is there any way to improve DD? Kang Jin-ho replied that it would not be difficult to arrange. The streets of the business district of Luana. The heavenly demon said they were almost there. All they had to do was turn right at the next intersection. The protagonist was suspicious of this place. A passerby said that it was the best workshop in Luana, a smithy run by Gary. The assortment included weapons for every taste and color. You could choose the best quality products. Kim Jong-un thought it was an ordinary smithy. Kang Jin-ho clarified that it was a weapon shop, a defensive equipment store. Here was a street of workshops where various goods were produced. Karp said he liked their enthusiasm. But wasn't his equipment good enough? The heavenly demon was surprised. Did Karp really think he had brought him here just to pick up an item? To reach their destination, they needed to go a little further. This was the street of enhancements. Kan Shin-ho said that today was the player's memorable first enhancement day. Enhancement and destruction are inseparable. To be able to deal more damage, you have to take risks. All enhancement points have the same probability. The game also has enhancement insurance, so you can try your luck. The protagonist asked what rank in PC is considered 100% success. The heavenly demon replied that it all depends on the rating. If they were dealing with a heroic rating or lower, it would be the 6th rank. Kim Jong-un asked if it was enough to have only weapons and gold. Tina said that wasn't quite the case. A special component, an enhancement stone, is required for the enhancement process. It is usually sold at enhancement points or dropped by mobs. Tina added that among the nobility of Akram, there was a family that rose to the position of marquis solely through blacksmithing and enhancement skills. It was a nobleman responsible for enhancing high-ranking equipment. Her equipment had also been enhanced by this family. The girl added that it was truly a legendary item. The Lord's sword was the best in the entire universe. Kim Jong-un suggested ending the argument and going somewhere. The young man pointed to the nearest place. It was pleasing to the eye. One customer complained that he had an unlucky hand. His equipment had vanished into thin air. What should he do now? The employee apologized to the respected customer. The young man reminded him that he had warned him in advance. Amplification could be dangerous at their station. Kim Jong-un wondered in surprise what the essence of the situation was. Kang Jin-ho reminded him that all enhancement points had the same probability. However, to be precise, there was one place where the amplification insurance was 1 unit less than in others. This was the very point. Here, one could get a new quest. The station employee said that the customer had been unlucky again this time. Kim Jong-un approached the young man and said he would like to ask about the enhancement. The employee thought they were in big trouble. It seemed that this visitor had mistaken him for his client. The employee apologized and suggested that the young man go inside quickly. The young man said that his family had been involved in enhancement for generations. The employee said that his ancestor had created the best enhancement center, and thanks to his talent, had been awarded the title of Marquis. However, all that was now in the past. The young man said that his family's strengthening was special. For it, he needed a family heirloom, a special exclusive hammer. He added that once his great-grandfather dropped the key to the box with the relics into the sea, the family members spent all their savings to find the key, but their efforts were in vain. Gradually, their art of strengthening was forgotten, and the family fell into decline. The young man added that now he couldn't even bring himself to call himself a master. Our hero thought, is it really necessary to follow the script? The current head of the Fergus family is Kirapon Fergus, a magician and blacksmith with the most outstanding potential since the first head of the clan. The young man said he had a request for the adventurer. If he found the key, could he bring it to him? In return, he would give him the best reward. The system offered a new quest. Kim Jong-un realized that he was dealing with an NPC with a hidden quest. Our hero said he would help Fergus. The quest was accepted. The protagonist always wondered why the situation was so unusual. It turns out that they are dealing with an NPC with a hidden quest. Kang Jin-ho told Karp not to delude himself into thinking that he was the only one who had received it. If the quest was given in such an open area, then there were probably already several million people who had decided to take on the challenge. Our hero declared that he was no longer in the mood. Each player would try to complete this attractive quest in their own way. Kim Jong-un thought, if he increased his likability, perhaps Fergus would give him some additional information. Of the more than 500 million users who had passed through Luang, not a single one had been able to find the location of the key. This meant that the search method was incorrect. Kim Jong-un asked the heavenly demon if he knew where the key was. Kang Jin-ho said that the key was right in front of him, but circumstances prevented him from getting it, even though he knew where it was. Suddenly, everything around them began to shake. Was it an earthquake? Fergus was surprised. Was this the first time the adventurer had encountered something like this? In that case, his surprise was quite understandable. The young man said that in that case, the adventurer should follow him. He would show him everything. Our hero looked ahead and was surprised. Was this an optical illusion? A huge water dragon emerged from the depths of the sea. Fergus said that this is one of the 4 disasters, the king of sea dragons. Sometimes it rises to the surface of the water to bask in the sun or shake off dirt from its scales. It is a fairly quiet and calm creature. This dragon never comes ashore and quickly hides underwater. Kim Jong-un thought that with such a level of fear, it could well claim the title of one of the strongest in PC. Kang Jin-ho reminded him that Karpi had asked about the location of the key. The celestial demon added that the key was in the belly of this creature. It was quite possible that this dragon's level exceeded 400. It was not created to be caught. The king of sea dragons was one of the primordial monsters that existed before the dawn of humanity. It could not be defeated by ordinary physical strength. Kim Jong-un thought that he would not try to break through the cast iron wall with his head. Too unreasonable a sacrifice. It was better to give up. Kang Jin-ho was surprised. What was Karp going to do? Kim Jong-un asked Fergus where the chest with the family heirloom was now. The young man replied that it was in the workshop. Fergus asked, had the adventurer mastered the skill of lockpicking? But that was hopeless. Even an adventurer with a 9-star skill had failed. Kim Jong-un told Fergus to trust him. The workshop was in disarray. The protagonist did not feel the heat here. The workshop had been idle for a long time. Fergus said that a few years ago, he used to hammer on the anvil to keep his skills sharp. But for years now, he hasn't lit the fire in the forge because he doesn't like that he can't create anything truly high quality. Fergus showed the adventurer the patterns on the floor. You need to go downstairs and walk to the iron gate. The young men then went to the place where the chest with the family heirloom was kept. Our hero saw a chest with the treasures of the Fergus family, an ancient family of craftsmen. The chest cannot be opened with a legendary key. Only a special key belonging to the Fergus family can open it. Our hero thought he could use the unlock skill. However, this skill can only be used once a day. Kim Jong-un said he would check the information about the unlock skill. Our hero was only 10 points short, but this could be made up with bonus points. Fergus asked if the adventurer had encountered some kind of problem. Kim Jong-un replied that he had just checked his stats and found that he didn't have enough MP. Fergus said he was willing to lend him one thing for a short time. It was a bracelet of supreme vitality with a heroic rating. The magical bracelet activated the user's metabolism. The system reported that NPC Fergus wanted to lend equipment. After the rental period expired, it would automatically return to its original owner. Kim Jong-un activated the unlock skill. The system reported that the player had completed the hidden quest, the Fergus family's cherished wish. The master thanked the adventurer and added that his gratitude knew no bounds. He would include Karp's name in his family history and serve the adventurer for the rest of his days. Fergus said that now he would like to make a weapon for the adventurer. Are there any requests? The master added that the time of Kiripin Fergus had come. Putting the honor of his family on the line, he would repay the favor in full. The blacksmith took out his hammer and began the process of making the weapon. Kim Jong-un thought he could see the master's hand at work. This master had reached the highest level of skill. Fergus said he tried to create something that would perfectly match the Enigma gloves. Our hero received the Devil's Fist, Karpa. It is a one-of-a-kind glove created by a great master. A masterpiece made by a master with 9-star creation and enhancement skills. Kim Jong-un thought that the reward for the hidden quest never disappoints him. Kang Jin-ho said that they had almost arrived at their destination and pointed ahead. The sea forest began there. Kim Jong-un thought that this space looked more like a field than a forest, perhaps because the trees were smaller and less dense. Kang Jin-ho said that it was necessary to open the inventory and select the radar. A search was initiated for field bosses appearing within a radius of 1 kilometer. One boss was detected, the oldest Trent. Kim Jong-un looked at the radar and said that he needed to get to the place with the skull sign by the set time. In his free time, our hero decided to complete side quests, collecting sea mushrooms and fighting a Trent. Kang Jin-ho asked if the player would be recording the raid. The Sky Demon added that after uploading the video, he enjoyed watching people's reactions. Stream hosts John Yeon-jin and Yang greeted the viewers. Today they will cover many hot topics for discussion and introduce a significant number of characters. A player who is the pride of Korea, Heavenly Rapier, was introduced. The viewer enjoyed watching the video and eating. Heavenly Rapier is a realistic version of an absurd combination, a beautiful girl and the best professional gamer. She is the most recognizable Korean woman in the world. First in Korea, 5th in the world, and also an unrivaled player in Eden, the renowned elite guild. The host said that this video is Heavenly Rapier hunting a boss. If you look closely, you can see that the sword glitters slightly. If the sword has a golden sheen, it is the effect of the striking blow skill. However, the gold color of striking blow has a slightly more saturated hue. Among the buff skills, only striking blow has a gold effect. Could it be that this is not the effect of the skill? The Heavenly Rapier jumped high into the air and prepared to deliver a striking blow. Heavenly Rapier delivered a spectacular blow, and the monster was deactivated. The effect that the audience saw before them was an indication that her famous rapier of the unique Ice Snow rating had achieved a 10-fold increase in power. Kim Jong-un thought that Fergus was truly a great man. Our hero was the owner of a legendary item with a 12-fold enhancement. The hosts introduced a newcomer who had become a hot topic of discussion in society. The hosts announced that they would introduce the Heavenly Demon from the Heavenly Demon TV channel. The destruction of the bloodthirsty guild, the revelation of a hidden quest, the destruction of the hellish monster, Because of the striking and terrifying videos, many assumed that it was either a hack or Photoshop. The host announced that a new video had just been uploaded to the channel. I wonder what kind of spectacle awaits them this time. A giant cutter steamed to perfection. Viewers witnessed the player cutting the giant slicer in two. The viewers were shocked by what they saw. How could someone post such horror without even blurring it? After the video, everyone became crazy interested in the player. After all, this was the fruit of painstaking work. Kim Jong-un said that Kang Jin-ho should have blurred the image for decency before posting the video. Kim Jong-un noted that he did not want to attract attention and would not show Tina's face in the video, as she attracts too much attention. Our hero said that since Fergus's amplification technique was unique, the equipment he created could not be improved in other areas. Fergus stated that he was going to travel to the capital to restore his family's lost honor. The materials needed to strengthen it could only be obtained there. He would hone his skills so the adventurer could visit him if they ever found themselves in the capital. Carpe added that they had learned that repetition had also worked in the basic enhancement experiment they had conducted before coming here. That was half the battle. Now they needed to increase the skill level. Unlike most other skills, which are limited to level 10, the levels of unlock and repeat can be increased indefinitely. The limit is unknown. Even if you invest all your available skill points, there is no guarantee that you will be able to fully master the skill. Kang Jin-ho noted that, to his great relief, the repetition level automatically increases every time the level is increased with the help of the title effect. Kim Jong-un said he was going to go to the capital and test the enhancement again. Kang Jin-ho replied that he had no objection. The protagonist said that until then, he would try to hold out using title bonuses and 12-fold weapon enhancements. Our hero thought that those who would help pass the time had appeared at just the right moment. A longtime resident of the Sea Forest appeared. Kang Jin-ho said that these guys were slow but had high defense. Since they were trees, their weakness was the fire attribute. But at the same time, they were fueled by the energy of the sea, so they had resistance to fire. The heavenly demon noted that Kim Jong-un rushed into the attack again without listening to the end. Kim Jong-un delivered a crushing blow with his fist to the Trent, transferring a huge amount of energy. The sea Trent was damaged. Our hero thought that the striking power of the glove was indeed formidable. He loved this game madly. Kim Jong-un declared that he would knock everyone out right now. Kang Jin-ho noticed that Carpe was doing just fine without any advice. Kim Jong-un continued to strike blow after blow, beating the tree. The system announced that the fight with Trent was over. The player could receive a reward from the law enforcement officer Luan. The protagonist noted that he had only managed to level up twice. The leveling process had slowed down a bit. Kang Jin-ho reminded him that starting from level 20, the requirements would increase significantly. It would be even more difficult from then on. Carpe acknowledged that almost all games have a similar algorithm, so he was not surprised. Our hero wanted to test the effect of the second option of the Iron Glove, adding physical attack to magic attack. But before he got to that step, all the mobs were smashed to smithereens with a single punch. Therefore, the experiment was unsuccessful. Kang Jin-ho said that nevertheless, they managed to figure out one thing. At the moment, the magic associated with the Iron Glove is the 3-star skill Alimony Arrow. Now they know for sure that the distribution depends on the ratio of the player's level and skill rating. Thus, leveling up has become an even more important aspect of the game. With Chernish's help, our player was able to obtain a sea mushroom. The mushroom gathering quest is almost complete thanks to Chernish's collecting skill. Kim Jong-un picked up the radar and decided to check the location of the oldest Trent. Our hero noted that there was not a single soul here now. Kang Jin-ho asked if Carp was really going to act alone without the help of his family members. Our hero nodded affirmatively. Kim Jong-un noted that from a strategic point of view, it would be more logical for Tina to take on the role of a tank. Then he would act as a DD and Chernish as a second DD. However, the young man said that this time he wanted to try to go through everything alone. Kim Jong-un added that a solo raid was every gamer's dream. The oldest Trent appeared. The protagonist activated Dragon Eye. Our hero determined at first glance that all the skills of the tree were related to defense. The heavenly demon said that, judging by the faint golden light surrounding the Trent's body, it was an elite mob. One glance at the status window is enough to understand that the concept of this mob is focused on defense. Its attacks are easy to dodge. There is no threat of instant death. However, it is notorious for its battles dragging on for a long time. If a player loses strength or vigilance, they will die immediately. Such an outcome is only possible in the case of a protracted battle. Kang Jin-ho said that Carpe could be an exception to the rule, as he has a few tricks up his sleeve. Our hero used Striking Blow and activated Acceleration, thereby increasing his physical attack power and movement speed. Kang Jin-ho thought he had the impression that he had tamed a hyperactive puppy. Carp continued to beat the tree with his fists, saying that Trent was too slow. Our hero said that Trent could attack. He would receive exactly 20 more blows and get a taste of his fist. Trent felt uncomfortable and growled menacingly in indignation. Kim Jong-hoon wondered how the tree was going to attack at such a speed. Our hero activated Wind Slash, and the Trent was cut to pieces. The protagonist did not stop and decided to deliver a few more control blows. The magic attached to the iron glove was activated. After a series of brutal blows, the Trent activated its self-healing mode. Kim Jong-hoon said that it wouldn't help. He wasn't going to stop there. Kang Jin-ho said that the oldest Trent has 3 phases. The second one had just been activated. The first phase is a standard attack, while the second is considered a recovery phase. The main drawback is that the player must remain inactive for 2 minutes. However, the real threat lies in the third phase, the discharge. After recharging during the second phase, when the player enters the third, they cannot withstand even 5 minutes of confrontation. That is why the Trent must be destroyed in 2 minutes. The Heavenly Demon told Carp to fight the Trent as he usually does. Kim Jong-hoon thought 2 minutes was too long. He put 10 bonus points into strength and another 10 into mana. The magic attached to the iron glove was activated. A spell was cast. As the number of hits increased, even the glove's options were ready to explode. Our hero decided he had hit the jackpot. The system reported that the field boss, the oldest Trent, had been eliminated. The system reported that the player had obtained the bark of an old tree, saturated with the sea. Kim Jong-hoon said it was an amazing game. The guard's request was fulfilled. Our hero declared that he had reached level 25. Now he could move on to the next quest. The Heavenly Demon said that the second scenario in the search for the next relic of the Spellcasting King would begin soon. However, first he needed to upgrade his room. Kim Jong-hoon thought that a new quest would begin soon, but how would it start? Tina said that she remembered something about the second relic. Kang Jin-ho said that Tina's memories were gradually returning after reaching a certain level. Tina added that she knew the identity of the doll, the second relic created by the Spellcaster King. Tina explained that it was a doppelganger, a mirage from illusion. The system reported that the second relic of the Spellcaster King slumbers in the now forgotten ancient forest. The forest dwellers are extremely hostile to humans. To obtain the relic, it is necessary to gain their approval. 6 months after the release of The Last Savior, it became the best game among all existing prototypes thanks to its stunning quality and magnificent world that everyone is delighted with. However, one oddity was discovered in the game. No user managed to find the elves. No one knew that the elves, who were thought to be extinct, were only found on the 25th level. Our hero asked Tina where this forgotten forest was located. The doll said she knew the way, but the Lord had to understand. A powerful barrier hung over the forest. It would have to be neutralized first. 800 years ago, the Spellcasting King had personally set up this barrier, but his descendant had to deal with it. Kim Jong-hoon thought that he had the skill to unlock it. It was worth a try. However, first he needed to visit Drek, because he had asked to be found after reaching level 25. Drek said he would gladly share the information. According to the records left by the Spellcasting King, a special blade was needed to overcome the barriers of the Forgotten Forest. Drek handed our hero a blueprint for creating the Spellbreaker and a magical solvent. Our hero thought that as soon as the room upgrade was complete, he could get down to business. All conditions for the room upgrade have been met. The room will be upgraded to the second level. Kim Jong-hoon received a notification that the upgrade was complete. By workforce, they meant rodents. If you give them a moderate amount of work, they will figure out what to produce and how to do it themselves. This is very convenient. The system reported that the gardens and mines are not currently being developed. The protagonist realized that production sites are limited. Kang Jin-ho was surprised. Since when did the room administrator become the manager of the workers? Management can be carried out through the administrator. The current administrator is the Supreme Heavenly Demon. Kim Jong-hoon said that this was much better than if he had been put in charge. Kang Jin-ho replied that it didn't matter. He didn't do anything anyway except edit videos. The Heavenly Demon asked if it was time for the player to go to the workshop. Kim Jong-hoon reminded him that they still had to break the barrier. He also wanted to see if he could create a radar. Carpe added that while he was away, Kang Jin-ho should keep an eye on everything. The heavenly demon assured him that everything would be fine. Kim Jong-hoon noticed that the magic solution supplies had been replenished and the iron ingots had changed. This was a reward for upgrading the room to the second level. Our hero added Charm Destroyer to the processing using the magic inventory skill. Kim Jong-hoon picked up the hammer and said he was ready to start production. Tina pointed the way, riding on top of Chernish. She solemnly declared that, putting her brilliance on the line, she would safely deliver the Lord to his destination. Kim Jong-hoon guessed that they had gone far east of the beginning of the sea forest. There were no users or monsters to be seen here. Could it be that elves really lived here? Tina said they had arrived. Before them was the door leading to the elven settlement. Kim Jong-hoon determined that a perception barrier had been set up around the tree. He couldn't see the door. Tina told Lord to look under his feet. Kim Jong-hoon saw something resembling a dog hole beneath him. Tina explained that this was the passage to their destination. She added that the spellcasting king had entered using a miniaturization spell. Had the spellcasting lord not yet mastered it? Under the influence of external magic, Kim Jong-hoon began to shrink. He shouted that this was too much. Kang Jin-ho said that many people like such details. Kim Jong-hoon replied that it was easy to say when you were just a ghost. Our hero was pleased that the deeper they went, the wider the space became. Fireflies were flying around, and the atmosphere was quite pleasant. After a while, the protagonist found himself in the Forgotten Forest. The young man looked at the map and saw that it didn't show anything. Tina said that right in front of the Lord, there was a barrier controlling access to the settlement. Kim Jong-hoon asked if she meant a barrier. This place was clearly not welcoming to strangers. Kang Jin-ho was surprised. Was Karp really not going to use the unlock skill? Kim Jong-hoon replied that there was no need to rush. The skill could only be activated when he wanted it to be, and he didn't know how large the area of effect was. What if he used it incorrectly and everything inside the barrier was destroyed? The system reported that all the elven houses had been blown up and the quest had failed. Kang Jin-ho suggested that the player would have to say goodbye to the elves' friendship forever. Inventory, Spellbreaker. It was a dagger capable of dispelling all magical effects on the target it pierced. Our hero, dagger in hand, said he would do things the old-fashioned way. Kim Jong-hoon made an incision and thought that there should be no problems. But why did the air inside seem fresher? The young man suggested that they should now move to the elven settlement. Did Tina know the way? The girl said that the interior of the Forgotten Forest distorts mana, so the homunculus's sensitivity is significantly reduced here. She apologized for not being able to help. Kang Jin-ho was surprised. Why was Karp so relaxed even though he had no idea where to go? Kim Jong-hoon replied that at times like this, players like him usually don't need to search for anything. Suddenly, our hero was stopped. It was the elves. Many arrows were stuck in the ground in front of the young man. An armed elf said she didn't know how the man had overcome the barrier. But if he took another step forward, the next arrow would fly into his head. He had to turn around and leave. Kim Jong-hoon apologized for his sudden visit and assured them that he had no evil intentions. The elf said that his intentions were irrelevant. The only way to prove that he was not an enemy was to leave. Our hero had no intention of leaving just because he was told to. In that case, it would not have been worth starting in the first place. Kim Jong-hoon decided to try to change their minds. Suddenly, Tina recognized the elf and addressed her by name, Crows, noting that they hadn't seen each other in many years. The elf also recognized Mrs. Satinia. 800 years had passed since their last meeting. Crows said she had missed Mrs. Satinia very much. Kim Jong-hoon realized that these girls knew each other and felt relieved. Crows asked who the man with her was. Statinia replied that she had completely forgotten to introduce him. He was the one who carried out the will of the spell-casting king and was her master. Crows bowed her head and apologized. She had not recognized the benefactor of the settlement. Kim Jong-hoon was surprised. Why was he called that? Crows suggested that Lady Tina had not yet told him anything. 800 years ago, their tribe had received tremendous help from the Spell King. Even after so many years, many still remembered this. Crows asked if they had come for the artifact left by the spellcasting king. The elf offered to take them to the queen, who would be delighted to welcome such guests. Kim Jong-hoon thought that everything was turning out to be much easier than he had expected. Perhaps the search for relics would indeed be easy. The elf queen asked what would happen if she didn't want to give up the relic. Indeed, the relic had been left here by the spellcasting king about 800 years ago. The queen asked why she should give this relic to a human. The protagonist was upset. Why did he think it would be so easy? Kim Jong-hoon asked Queen Altair, Isn't it normal to return something entrusted to you to the person who came for it? The queen said that he was quite articulate, since he had started talking about norms. But do people use the words entrust and transfer as synonyms? Eltair added that the king enchanter was to blame for everything. It all started with him. The one who had been missing for 20 years suddenly appeared out of nowhere and destroyed the barrier around their settlement. Then the king threw a magical relic into their village and left, saying that his descendant would come for it. Whether to give it to him or not was up to them to decide. After his visit, monsters began attacking the settlement, wanting to get their hands on the relic. Does anyone know how much the security budget has grown over the last 800 years because of this gift? In fact, he is not a spellcasting king, but a king who creates problems. Eltair added that all he knew how to do was complicate the lives of others. Kim Jong-un said he was ready to take responsibility for the actions of the spellcasting king. The queen thought, this man really does feel a sense of responsibility. There is a reason why Statinia follows him. Eltair said that she only needed one thing: labor. Beetles that suck tree sap live in the vicinity of the settlement. Although they deplete the trees, they are not dangerous in themselves. These beetles are large, but quite weak. It would be easy for the descendant of the spellcasting king to deal with them. Kim Jong-un was delighted. He had been given an easy quest. The queen said she had a conscience. Therefore, the young man just needed to catch 800 beetles. The system reported that the player had accepted the quest, eradication of tree sap-sucking beetles. The queen said she would assign an escort to the young man. Cyrus would take the descendant of the spellcasting king to the forest. Eltair added that while the man was catching bugs, she would like to talk to Tina. Wasn't it time to free her soul from the burdens accumulated over 800 years? Tina thanked the queen for the offer, but declined. She would not allow her lord to go on a mission alone. Kim Jong-un told Tina not to worry and asked her to have a good time with the queen. Cyrus informed the king's descendant that they had arrived. The creatures attached to the tree bark were the target of the mission. It was their breeding season, and they needed a lot of nutrients, which prevented the trees from bearing fruit. The king's descendant needed to get rid of them. Kim Jong-un thought that if Tina wasn't around, he should ask Chernish for help. But Chernish had been bribed with top-quality acorns from the queen. Our hero said that raising children is a thankless task, and Chernish did not follow him. Kim Jong-un, for research purposes, approached the sap-sucking beetle. The protagonist delivered a sharp and crushing blow with his fist. The system reported that the tree sap-sucking beetle had been destroyed. Cyrus said that these beetles were resistant to blows because of their thick shells. But humans don't use magic, do they? Kim Jong-un replied that he did not use magic. After all, he must not harm the trees. Cyrus thought that this man had even considered such a nuance. He could rightly be called the descendant of the spellcasting king. After a while, our hero said that he had just gotten rid of 40 of them. Why do they give such a lot of experience? That's amazing. Kang Jin-ho thought that Carp was the only user currently in the forest. He didn't need to compete with other users to eliminate mobs. Besides, there are a lot of monsters that die from a single blow here. This is the best hunting ground for leveling up. Kang Jin-ho thought that this guy was currently leveling up with maximum efficiency. Level 130 Hunting Grounds, White Mountain. Gunter Lowell, a member of the North American 10th Guild's son, took first place in the rankings. The hunter said that even the Yeti had been dealt with, but this time too, not a single ice crystal had dropped. Kite said that Gunnar had done a great job anyway. Gunnar said that the girl must be bored waiting for him all the time. Maybe she would take up the challenge too. Kite replied that she didn't want to. Gunnar knew that her profession was completely ineffective in the snowy mountains. Gunnar noted that since the video was uploaded, there wasn't a guild that didn't want to recruit him. Finally, someone interesting had appeared in PC. Gunther said he was looking forward to what the future held for them. The Mammonism Guild office. The leader said that, according to his observations, Kwok Mushin had once again gotten himself into trouble. That little rat still hadn't been caught. The assistant said he had nothing more to report to the head. However, he wanted to note that he had indeed reached a dead end, because he couldn't glean much information from the videos on the channel he runs. The only thing he managed to find out was that their opponent was a man, a mage with a sword who used lightning spells, and he had a pet. The leader said he understood. Manager Kwok should try to find him again, and as soon as he finds him, he should immediately recruit him into the guild. The leader noted that the guild's image had suffered greatly due to the coin fraud. If, after what had happened, they unexpectedly caught and destroyed one unfortunate user, what would be the outcome? They had to take control of the monster that had been able to defeat a warrior like Hanzo. Kwok Mushin thought that if it was about recruitment, he had an idea. How were things going with Chodasan lately? Since yesterday, he had been transferred to a hidden class of monks called Blood Priests. Chuchwida-san's sensitivity limit exceeded 107 units when playing Palone. That's 2 units higher than on the Heavenly Rapier. Chuda-san is the most promising member of Mammonism, who only came of age this year. He has high sensitivity and an 8-star kindred spirit. He is the one who gets the most attention in the guild. Sensitivity is a number that shows how well a player responds to real body commands. The less delay between the body and the avatar caused by virtual reality limitations, the higher the sensitivity. That is why people should live kindly. Then a bag of luck like this will surely fall into their hands. Cho Daehyun will definitely go far. Leader Kwok should give him everything he asked for. What about the unique item he asked to buy the other day? Kwok said that the highest bid at the moment is 10,000 gold coins. The guild leader said to buy it. Kwok Mushin was surprised. The head showed unexpected generosity and said to buy it without fail. You can't skimp on geniuses. You have to invest in their talent. From now on, Kwok Mushin must personally deal with everything Choi Daehyun asked for. The guild leader thought if it is possible to build a trusting relationship with the most promising member for just a few thousand gold coins, then it is a business worth doing. The resources invested will return threefold. Kim Jong-hoon reached level 30. A skill pack will be added as a reward. Kang Jin-ho acknowledged that the leveling up was indeed happening incredibly fast. The heavenly demon asked how many more bugs needed to be killed. Kim Jong-hoon replied that he would check right away. The young man saw that he hadn't even completed half of the quota. He thought he would be able to finish everything today. Kang Jin-ho said that no one could complete such a task in one day. Nevertheless, the player had decent speed. Kim Jong-hoon noticed that the item they had uploaded had been sold. The Fanatic's Scythe went for 30,000 gold. Kidlack's Carpenter Gloves went for 1,000 gold. The player suggested that with 500 million players, this was possible. He would need to collect his payment upon returning to the city. Was it really time to disconnect from the network? Time had flown by unnoticed. Kang Jin-ho said that destroying the oldest Trent in the journey to the Elven settlement took a very long time. Kim Jong-hoon replied that he would open the skill pack tomorrow as soon as he logged into the game. Kim Jong-hoon told the heavenly demon to say goodbye to Tina and Chernish for him. In the queen's office, Tina said she liked the pleasant taste and relaxing aroma of the tea. Eltair asked if they had come to find the religion of Dresh. Did that mean they planned to fight the gods again? Were they going to get involved in this struggle? The queen added that she didn't want any more changes in her life. Tina replied that she understood Eltair perfectly. Now the descendant simply wanted to return what the spellcasting king had left behind. The queen told Tina not to worry. The religion of Dresh would soon be returned to them. Eltair noticed that Tina's current appearance was different from what she had seen before. She looked quite good. How fortunate that she had met a good master. Tina thanked Elt for her kind words. Thanks to the Lord in Chernish, every day of her life is filled with joy. Tina looked out the window and said that the Lord had returned to where he originally lived. She suggested that the queen continue the conversation next time. The queen thought that the stranger had an amazing talent. He didn't even give them a proper goodbye. The second relic is the Divine Tree of Rudram, a benevolent mother who cares for all elves in a world tree symbolizing abundance. The surname Woodguard speaks for itself. The kings of the elves have guarded this sacred tree for generations. It is under this tree that the second relic of the spellcaster king, the Mirage from Illusion, sleeps. Cyrus informed the queen that the descendant, after a long hunt for beetles, had left them. He was expected to return tomorrow. The queen asked what Cyrus thought of the descendant. The young man replied that the descendant was kind and strong. Therefore, he did not think that this person could harm their family. Eltair thought that the tea they were drinking, made from the leaves of the cedar rudra, had the effect of completely removing psychotropic magic, such as brainwashing and subjugation. She had asked Tina to drink this tea for a reason. She was going to cast a brainwashing spell. Fortunately, the descendant turned out to be a good person who chose the right path. The queen asked Cyrus, would they finish destroying the bugs in about a week? Cyrus replied that the job would be done tomorrow. Eltair was surprised. Cyrus noted that Oku had already managed to collect more than 300 bugs. The queen said that Cyrus had to stall for time. The young man was surprised. Was there a reason for this? Perhaps it was because 800 years ago, the spellcasting king had rejected her marriage proposal and then abandoned her. Eltair dismissed Cyrus. The queen, of course, knew that the young man was incredible, but not to such an extent. Cyrus gave our hero a return spell that would teleport him near the Queen's castle. He could use it when he finished his task with the beetles. Kim Jong-un thanked him. This gift would come in handy. Cyrus advised him not to go deep into the forest. Cyrus added that these surroundings are under their control and are quite safe. But deep in the forest, there are places where even he is afraid to go. The elf said that he was convinced of the man's abilities, but even he would be in danger there. One must be careful. Kim Jong-un thanked him for the information. Our hero thought that this place was healing just by its appearance alone. Karp decided to postpone the task and try his luck. The young man turned to his inventory and opened his skill pack. Our hero said that now he would definitely be lucky. He loved testing his luck because it was a lot of fun. The player drew the casting skill card. It sounds like a chess term. He gained the ability to swap allied users. The protagonist thought that during battle, he could change his strategy using this skill. The Sky Demon noted that this skill has a long cooldown and cannot be used consecutively. However, it does have some good points. Guild War is the most large-scale PvP. It can be extremely effective, as the skill can be used without the consent of the other person. Kim Jong-un noted that this was unfair. Kang Jin-ho said that this skill was highly valued and very expensive. Kim Jong-un was surprised. Didn't the Heavenly Demon say that his skill was worth only 5 million? Our hero felt cheated. The second skill was Wind Cutter. Kim Jong-un said he already had it. The Heavenly Demon said that's why he should take it right away. He just had to choose it and not be nervous. The player received a 4-star Wind Cutter card. There are 2 ways to increase the power of skills. First, invest skill points. Second, the skill can be enhanced with a duplicate card. The special feature is increased damage and an additional skill effect. The skill was enhanced and the protagonist was extremely pleased. Kang Jin-ho stated that there is another way to use cards marked "Not for Sale." Here, you get 1 skill pack for every 5 levels. As the number of users increased, a device was created to crossbreed them. The Skill Card Combination System. This system was awarded to NPCs located in all major cities. If you give such an NPC 2 to 6 cards, it will give you a completely new card. The more top cards you give it, the better the result will be after crossbreeding. Because of this crazy system, sects obsessed with cards were created. Kang Jin-ho noted that only God knows how many people they tortured for the sake of cards. Kim Jong-un expressed his hope that he would never meet them. He said that it was time for him to test his improved skill. Our hero added that he was just about to finish the task. However, the beetles were taking longer to recover. The Heavenly Demon thought that something was definitely wrong with their recovery. Where had these beetles gone? Why were only the bees flying away? Kang Jin-ho thought, if the bees are flying, then there must be a hive nearby. He needed to observe the bees. Our hero discovered a large cluster of beetles. How many are there? There were no trees nearby, so he could run around freely. The protagonist activated the Wind Cutter skill and got rid of the beetles. Our hero decided he could add a little magic. For him, it was paradise. The system reported that the task was completed. Now the player could receive a reward from the corresponding NPC. Kim Jong-un decided that he was too good. Kang Jin-ho said that it was all very strange. Karp was surprised. Did the Heavenly Demon think that the quest was too easy? The Heavenly Demon said, the strange thing was that the bugs didn't react at all while he was destroying them by the hundreds. They just waited for their death. Was that normal? Kim Jong-un was even able to reach level 32. Kang Jin-ho asked Karp if he wanted to stop. Our hero replied that he didn't want to stop. The Heavenly Demon said that they needed to find the owner of this hive. Kim Jong-un suggested that they would soon be there. He caught all the bugs and gained even more experience. Kang Jin-ho noticed that the atmosphere had changed. Karp had to prepare for a battle with the boss. They had to be careful. Kim Jong-un said that he couldn't see anything because of the fog. Could there really be a monster boss here? In this game, if the player does not cast spells aloud, the skill's power is reduced by 50%. In fact, this greatly affects the gameplay, especially when fighting against another player. Kim Jong-un thought he had no other choice but to act stealthily. He had to use the Wind Cutter. Kim Jong-un saw that the boss was a mantis. The young man thought that there must be another boss here. What is a mantis doing here? There was an encounter with the event monster, Fragment of Catastrophe. Kim Jong-un noticed that its name was completely red. Kang Jin-ho noted that the difference in levels was more than 35. The protagonist activated the dragon's eyes. After studying the characteristics, our hero said that this boss had 3 skills with 8 stars. Kang Jin-ho said that Carp would not defeat this boss. It would be better for them to leave now. The system reported that the catastrophe fragment had detected the player. The catastrophe fragment used mental domination on the player. The mental barrier was activated. All mental attacks were canceled. Kim Jong-hoon said that he now had a chance to win. The heavenly demon said that there was a small problem. Did Carpe remember what the dragon's eye did? Kim Jong-hoon was frightened. Did this opponent really have skills above 8 stars? Kim Jong-hoon noticed that a blizzard had appeared. Could it be that the boss was angry with him? The blizzard wasn't a scary skill, but his health was constantly dropping. The strongest 9-star skill was the ice squall. Kim Jong-hoon noticed that his feet were freezing, and now he couldn't even run away. The player had entered the area of effect of the 9-star skill permafrost. Kim Jong-hoon realized that he could die, so he turned to his inventory. The protagonist grabbed the teleport and activated the movement to the specified point. Now our hero could catch his breath. He thought he was definitely going to die. Kang Jin-ho noted that they had returned to the village, which meant that he would live a little longer. Kim Jong-hoon lost for the first time, and most likely it would hit him hard. Kim Jong-hoon told the heavenly demon that he was fine and that he liked everything. Our hero declared that he would definitely return there. Kang Jin-ho couldn't understand this guy. Kim Jong-hoon suggested that the heavenly demon understood what had happened and told him to tell everything. A girl approached our hero and said she would answer all his questions. The young people looked back. Queen Altair asked why he was standing there. Was he talking to the air? Kim Jong-hoon said he didn't expect to see the queen here. Altair said that he couldn't be so reckless. Even though he was the king's successor, he had to follow her. Altair added that, first of all, she would pay for the work done. The player completed the quest, fighting the beetles. Now the player can receive quests in the elf village. The queen said that this box now belongs to the heir. Inside the box was Deja's bracelet. The bracelet is made by weaving Neja's grass, which only grows near the world tree Rudram. The item possesses powerful life energy and provides vitality to its owner. Kim Jong-hoon thought that now he would be able to hunt using this bracelet. If you use a good item for self-healing, you can hunt endlessly without using potions. The queen said that at first she was going to give him an elven bow as a reward, but then she realized that the young man didn't need it. Kim Jong-hoon replied that he would definitely find a use for it. The queen suggested returning to the main topic. After all, the successor had stumbled upon a fragment of the catastrophe, hadn't he? Kim Jong-hoon admitted that while fighting the bugs, he had gone a little further than he should have and saw it there. It was very powerful. The queen called it a miracle that the young man had returned alive. What the successor had encountered was only a fragment. The full name of this catastrophe was the Lost Sea. The Lost Sea consists of 4 disasters. Records of them were discovered in ancient times. They appeared with the birth of the world, the dragon of the East Sea, and the Western Emperor of Ice, the King of the South Wind, and the Phoenix of Northern Fire. The King of the South Wind is capable of destroying an entire country with a single blow. The dragon of the East Sea broke a huge island into 3 pieces with a single blow. The land where the Western Ice Emperor lived turned into lifeless lands where it is impossible to even stay. The queen added that there are many legends about them. Since they are mysterious creatures, there is almost no reliable information about them. One thing is certain, their power is indescribable. The young man cannot even imagine how strong they are. They are like natural phenomena, such as typhoons or earthquakes. There is no logic in their behavior. Therefore, all living organisms on the continent live in constant fear. These terrible disasters can return at any moment. Our hero was surprised that they had not yet destroyed everything. Tina said that they should not be afraid. Akram had always been on their side. Kim Jong-hoon was surprised, on the side of these monsters. 800 years ago, there was an incident in which the Prestige Union challenged the Northern Phoenix. The existence of the Dead Sea would be an unpleasant situation for Prestige, which wanted to take control of the entire continent. 3 9-star and 15 8-star people fought to subjugate the Dead Sea. They suffered a complete defeat, without even scratching the Phoenix. During this battle, their leader, Hercules, was killed. Kang Jin-ho understood why no one had been able to choose Hercules for 10 years. He had died before the game even appeared. Kim Jong-hoon asked how many people it would take to stop the disaster. Tina replied that according to Akram's scientists, it would take about 800 people. Our hero was surprised. So now there was a fragment of a monster in the forest that could not be defeated? Was that normal? Kim Jong-hoon wondered if perhaps the village should be moved. The queen replied that this was impossible. Without the world tree, the elves simply could not survive. To move the village, they needed seeds that would soon become a new world tree. These were the fruits of Ludram. They would ripen within the next week, but by then, the monster would not just sit idly by. The young man had already noticed his current condition. Kim Jong-un thought he had noticed that his health was low. This was because he had almost been defeated. During the last war, the spellcasting king visited this forest to gather materials. That was when he helped repel this fragment. Although the king had severely wounded his opponent, he had let him escape and was unable to finish him off. The escaped fragment had been parasitizing on beetles for 800 years to gather mana for its recovery. The mana of the world tree is the source of life and the embodiment of pure, magical power. Even so, it was only able to restore 30% of its true power. The queen said she was sure that the fragment would soon attack them in order to fully restore itself. Eltyre added that she had no choice but to ask the young man for help. The queen asked Karp to help their village. The elf queen asked the player for help. He must stop the atrocities that had been going on for more than 800 years and help destroy the fragment of disaster. Kang Jin-ho suggested that from now on, the types of rewards would change depending on the player's choice. Kim Jong-un was surprised. Did he really have a choice now? Karp said that he would, of course, help the queen. The queen thought that this guy was gold, not a person. Although he was a descendant, in this case, the apple had fallen far from the tree. The queen told the young man to carefully guard the fruits in that case. Our hero was surprised. Shouldn't he be fighting the fragment? Eltyre explained that they were too weak for a head-on battle right now. No matter how much they fought, they couldn't defeat this monster. As soon as they picked the fruit, the monster would sense it and abandon the idea of attacking them. They just had to hold out for now. Kim Jong-un said that defense was good, but could he take on this monster himself? The queen was surprised. Kang Jin-ho asked if Karp really wanted to fight the fragment right now. The young man answered in the negative. Our hero himself didn't even understand how he said that in front of the queen. Kim Jong-un added that he already understood the situation. That fragment was nothing like the bosses he had fought before. Permafrost is a skill of at least 9 stars. Karp noted that the sum of items and skills is constant. You just need to collect the ones with higher stars. Kang Jin-ho said that everyone thought so when the game was first released. However, they were all wrong. 9 stars have a very high MP consumption level. Some skills can consume more than 1,000 MP. Even at the first levels, it is not worth using. Most people quit the game, even if they were lucky at the beginning. Kim Jong-un suggested that they cause more problems than they are worth. Our hero asked how he could get a 9-star skill. Kang Jin-ho said that there was a chance to get a card by completing a hidden quest. The protagonist asked his kindred spirit if he knew about hidden quests that gave 9-star skills. Kang Jin-ho replied that if he didn't know, he wouldn't even bring up the subject. Our hero fell to his knees and said that he revered his esteemed brother as a god. Kim Jong-un suggested first looking for quests that could be completed in the elf village. The young man added that he still had a lot of time before the fruits were fully ripe. They needed to gather as much useful information as possible before they encountered the fragment of the catastrophe. Kang Jin-ho said that it was a good idea, but he was also here for the first time, so he couldn't recommend the best quest. Kim Jong-un said not to worry, they would look around and definitely find something suitable. One of the elves said he urgently needed high-quality wood. Another elf asked to find some herbs in the forest. An armed elf said that the aftermath of the disaster could attract many wild monsters. Would the young man help with hunting deep in the forest? The elf said he had a task from the queen. She is a wonderful person, but she has topographical cretinism. However, they are already used to it. The elf said that they had just lost the queen. Will the man help them? The young man acquired materials for production that can only be obtained in the elven forest, and that can give various attributes to items when crafting equipment. Our hero also acquired leather gloves that increase the speed of item crafting. Kim Jong-un said that perhaps because the elves loved him so much, the reward had increased significantly. Kang Jin-ho said that it was not worth talking about anymore. Had he forgotten about the fragment of the disaster? Our hero received a task. He urgently needed to find Eltyre. The young man was surprised. Could the queen have gotten lost? How could she get lost so often in her own village? Kang Jin-ho said that there would be a good reward for this, so he had to get there and complete the task. Our hero suggested that the queen could probably get lost even in her own office. Kim Jong-un thought, aren't elves supposed to be good at reconnaissance from birth? Our hero's illusion about elves was slowly fading away. Karp saw the queen walking through the forest. There she was, Eltyre. Kang Jin-ho told Carpe to hide immediately. The player was surprised. Why all this? The celestial demon asked if Carpe understood where they were now. Carpe replied that they were in a demon village. The celestial demon said that the world tree was on the northern edge of the city, so elves rarely came here. But why had the queen come? The queen came to the entrance of the dungeon and shrank in size. Kim Jong-hoon said that it looked extremely suspicious. The celestial demon asked what Carp was going to do. The young man replied that he would simply carry out the task. Kim Jong-hoon said that they would follow the queen and then bring her to the office. Our hero added that the queen might be hiding something valuable there. It was necessary to check this out for himself. Kim Jong-hoon followed the queen. The system reported that this was the first player to enter the world tree. The young man said that there were 3 roads ahead. Apparently, the queen had taken one of them. Kim Jong-hoon said that he thought he knew where she had gone. Our hero saw footprints and suggested taking the middle road. The deeper they went, the colder it got. It was as if they had entered the Sokyed cave. Kim Jong-hoon sensed an aura very similar to a fragment of Kaiser's aura. He had recently checked the Sokyed cave and the surrounding forest again, and there were no traces of fragments. Why could he sense his trace here? In the most inappropriate place. Kim Jong-hoon saw Altair lying on the sarcophagus. Kang Jin-ho suggested that the sarcophagus was the source of the cold. What was the princess doing? Had she decided to take a nap here instead of sleeping at home? It had been quite some time since the queen had entered here. Kim Jong-hoon saw the magic circle and asked what was going on. It would be better if they hid. Our hero saw the mantis and asked in fear, where did the fragment of Kaiser's aura come from? Was he trying to trap the cold inside the sarcophagus? Kim Jong-hoon was confused. Where had Altair gone? Kang Jin-ho said that the queen had not disappeared. She had changed with the help of the Lord of Shadows fragment. The celestial demon added that the mantis had a skill that allowed it to do so. One of the skills contained in the fragment of the Lord of Shadows was the 8-star absolute camouflage. It turns out that the mantis had been pretending to be the queen all this time and hiding in the village. Now he is trying to destroy the sarcophagus. Kang Jin-ho said that it's not that simple. Altair said that it would all be over soon. The queen rose from the sarcophagus and said that this should be enough. Kim Jong-hoon said he was very scared. He thought he would be discovered. It seems they need to figure something out. A fragment of the Shadow Lord took the form of the queen. Mantis tried to destroy the sarcophagus, then took the form of Altair again and suddenly disappeared. Kang Jin-ho said that now it was even more confusing. What did the queen mean when she said there was little time left? Kim Jong-hoon decided to examine the sarcophagus. Maybe he would find some kind of clue. Our hero said that a faint chill could still be felt. However, there was not a scratch on the sarcophagus, but the mantis had definitely tried to destroy it. It seemed as if the sarcophagus had been carefully looked after. Kim Jong-hoon said that there was an indentation here exactly like the one on Tina's. The celestial demon said that the seal that fits the sarcophagus must be with Altair. This means that it is impossible to open it without the queen's permission. The young people decided to try to hide the sarcophagus without the queen's help, using their skills. Our hero activated the unlock skill. He succeeded. But how is this possible? Why is Altair lying here? What is going on? Kang Jin-ho said he had some ideas, but they needed to get out of there quickly. The Sky Demon said that it was better to focus on the plot event now. There was very little time left before the fruit ripened, about an hour and a half. An alarm sounded in the village. Kang Jin-ho suggested that the shards had begun their attack. Cyrus shouted that monsters were attacking them. It was necessary to gather the children in a safe place and protect them. Crows shouted for the archers and mages to get ready and wait for her signal. The monsters must be counterattacked and destroyed. The elf thought she had gathered all her fighting forces, but they were still insignificant compared to the horde of monsters. It seemed that this fragment had brought all the remaining monsters with it. The queen told crows to calm down. Once she crossed this barrier, the protection of the world tree would no longer be on her side. She had to be careful not to let it take control of her. They just had to hold out in this battle of attrition, and that would be a victory. The queen was curious to see what the descendant of the king of magicians would do. Kim Jong-hoon had his own plan and tricks up his sleeve. Crows ordered the archers to fire to kill. For the village, for their families, for the sacred tree. Don't let anyone through. The archers were to aim at the flyers, and the mages were to defend the fence. Crows wondered, why isn't the mantis moving? Could he be aiming at the world tree? The elf said she would not let that happen and fired a shot at her opponent. The monster dodged the arrow. The elf wondered, Was it a trick? Crows couldn't understand where the queen had gone. Eltair was near the tree at that moment. Eltair said that today everything would end. She had long understood that he was not real among that crowd of monsters. He must appear, a fragment of the Lord of Shadows. Mantis said that this man was not as foolish as the others. Could it be that the man had noticed that he was hiding? Kim Jong-un asked why Eltair was so perceptive. At that moment, Kim Jong-un, Eltair, and the mantis were standing near the tree. Kim Jong-un asked the queen, "Wasn't it him she called?" Eltair said she was addressing the fragment. The praying mantis asked how they dared to joke with him. The Eternal Frost skill was activated. The queen initiated a flame to avoid freezing. Eltair said that it was still incredible power. Was Karp okay? Our hero replied that he was fine, but what had happened to Eltair's hand? The queen said that from the young man's eyes and reaction, she could see that he understood everything. Had the master guessed long ago? Kim Jong-un replied that he had guessed 2 days ago when he followed Eltair to the World Tree. At first, he thought it was a fragment that had taken the form of Eltair. But when he saw the real Eltair at the sarcophagus, he understood everything. If anyone other than the descendant of the King of Magicians tries to take possession of the artifact, it will cease to function. However, the quest to find the artifacts is still active, which means the answer is obvious. The artifact of the King of Magicians has gained its own will and acts independently, just like a mirage. Another artifact of the King of Mages, the Phantom Mirage, was created based on a doppelganger. It exists in an incorporeal form, but when it encounters a specific target, it copies its appearance. Now it is clear that there were plenty of clues from the moment they entered the elf forest. Tina said that the elf forest distorts the flow of magic. Therefore, it would be difficult for a homunculus to navigate it. Kim Jong-un said that if he had thought about it more carefully, he would have immediately realized that Eltair was not real. But why did the monster take on Eltair's appearance? The queen said that the details would come later. Right now, the main thing was to stop the enemy. She added that this was the true power of the King of Magicians artifact, the power of his doll. Kim Jong-un wondered what was happening this time. Tina explained that the 7 dolls were considered the pinnacle of the King of Magicians' craftsmanship, and that this unusual doppelganger had a special ability. It could take the form of the person its opponent feared most. It turned into an ancient horror. The king said that about 800 years had passed, the end of their protracted enmity. The king possessed only 30% of his former power, but that was more than enough for the monster. The monster declared that it would destroy the ancient horror and attack the king. Kim Jong-un thought that the mirage had changed. The king said that he was just a pathetic worm. The mantis declared that he was no longer what he used to be. However, the king caught him with his bare hands. The king suggested that the wounds the monster had received 800 years ago had not yet healed. An 8-star ice explosion was activated. However, it had no striking effect on the king. Instead, Cataclysm Inferno was activated. Crowds of flames rushed towards the monster. Kim Jong-un shouted that the king could now burn down the entire village. Not long ago, she was the queen of the elves. How could she not be ashamed? Tina said that the ancient horror had always cared little about the fate of some small village. The system announced that the player would receive a reward and his base stats would be increased. Kim Jong-un said that this was simply unbelievable. Moreover, it was impossible to even intervene in this battle. What kind of monster was this King of Magicians? The king had already used more than 30 skills, and all of them had been upgraded to the maximum level. Tina explained that this was only possible thanks to the gift of heaven that the king possessed. The 9-star skill, Body Marked by Heaven, is an innate skill that doubles the number of skill points gained when leveling up. Kim Jong-un thought it was a real cheat and wanted a skill like that too. There were 5 minutes left until the fruit was fully ripe. The king said it was time to finish off this enemy. The Absolute Stone Curse was activated. The petrification magic took effect. The mantis began to turn to stone. Kim Jong-un was surprised to see a long scar on the fragment under his armpit. Tina replied that it was a wound inflicted on him by the King of Magicians 800 years ago. The wound reopened when it sensed the king's magic. Kim Jong-un understood what the king was now counting on. The fruit of Rudram had ripened. In order for the power of the elixir from the fruit of the world tree to be fully revealed, it must be taken within 10 minutes after ripening. It is necessary to protect the fruit under the fragment of the Lord of Shadows. The mantis said that the ancient horror was quite foolish. He was not the only one with a trump card up his sleeve. Kim Jong-un saw that the mantis had begun to transform. When he was just a pathetic fragment of chaos, he had no mind of his own. He was just a pathetic puppet acting on someone else's will. he suffered a serious injury and awoke. Who is he? Is his very existence doomed to eternal suffering? 800 years of torment will soon come to an end. Once he obtains this alluring fruit, capable of restoring his body, he will finally achieve perfection. The king thought that by sacrificing size, the mantis had gained incredible speed. But that was all of his magic. The mantis said that he would win in any case. The villain declared that he could feel a powerful life force. This fruit would be his. Kim Jong-un entered the arena and asked, "Does the monster really think it will be that easy?" Everyone saw the black squirrel. But when did it manage to climb the tree? The shadow leap skill was activated, moving into the shadow of its master. The king thought that the descendant had a plan to protect the fruit. Kim Jong-un said that Blackie, as always, proved to be clever. It wouldn't be long now. The system reported that this quest item, the Fruit of Rudram, was a special item that could not be placed in the inventory for a certain period of time. Kang Jin-ho said that this often happens in quests where you have to protect an item. If it could be put in the inventory, everything would be too easy. However, fighting and holding it in his hands at the same time was very inconvenient. The monster did not calm down and declared that it would tear everyone to pieces. It needed the fruit. Kim Jong-un suggested that the transformation had taken too much energy from the monster. Its stats had been halved. The elf screamed for her master to hide behind her. Kim Jong-un said that this mantis was very fast, so they had to be extremely careful. Kim Jong-un suggested that the battle would be really dirty. They needed to come up with some kind of strategy. The mantis was interested in where the fruit of the tree had gone. The monster's gaze fell on Chernish. He realized that this little animal was involved in the disappearance of the tree's fruit. Mantis shouted at the beast to give him the fruit and activated the permafrost. The unusual status reboot was activated. The king and the elf couldn't move their bodies. Kim Jong-un was surprised at this cheater skill that allowed him to reduce his recovery time. Kang Jin-ho told Carpe not to relax and to remain vigilant. Kang Jin-ho asked if Carpe was okay. Our hero replied that he felt fine. How could they defeat this monster? The celestial demon reminded them that the monster was not meant to be defeated. Mantis activated the mind control skill and ordered the beast to move towards him. Crows shouted for Chernish not to give up and to take the fruit into his hands. The mantis thought he was seriously injured and was about to retreat to try again when the next fruit ripened. But he didn't think it would be that easy. Finally, he would become perfect. Kim Jong-un said that it was not up to this monster to decide when it would all end. The mantis wondered where the squirrel had gone and where this man had come from. Our hero was glad he had learned this. The 5-star skill, Castling, was activated. The monster was puzzled as to how he was able to switch places so quickly. Kim Jong-un said it was an unmatched deception skill. The monster thought that he still had time, that he needed to protect his vulnerable spot, repel the attack, and counterattack. The protagonist said that this monster wanted to buy time by covering his scar. It wouldn't work. The monster thought that this armed man was acting very quickly. Our hero had a dagger that dispelled all magical effects upon impact. The mantis thought, "Is this the end?" The system reported that the player had defeated the boss of the Shard of the Shadow Lord event. The player was awarded the title Destroyer of Chaos. Kang Jin-ho ran up to Karpa and asked if everything was okay. The young man replied that he felt great. The elf thanked Kim Jong-un for protecting the fruit. The young man asked the girl what her name was, Eltar or Mirage. Eltar took the fruit and said she wanted to keep it for herself. Chernish was upset. Kim Jong-un said he would generously reward the squirrel for this. Kim Jong-un told the celestial demon that the main thing was that they had protected the fruit. It was better to go down a crazy path and receive a worthy reward than to take the easy road and be satisfied with trifles. Kim Jong-un looked at the object that had dropped the fragment. Our hero found himself holding a ring, a magical material, in a single card. It was an ice shackles ring with decent stats. He wasn't so lucky with the card. Kim Jong-un said that it was just one card, not a whole set. The celestial demon asked if the young man knew why players in LAS were so eager to hunt bosses. Kim Jong-un replied that it was because they dropped cool equipment. This was the correct answer, mainly because of the unique items that could only be obtained from bosses. There is another reason: skill chests. Unlike regular monsters, bosses have a very small chance of dropping a skill chest when they die. There are very few ways to obtain a skill chest. Therefore, high-level skill chests are worth their weight in gold. But there is something even more interesting: a skill card which drops only once. This card records one of the boss's skills. Kim Jong-un thought, could there really be such cool skills among the fragment skills? And one of them can be obtained. Kim Jong-un was surprised, especially since there are no restrictions for players, as is the case with unique boss skills. Our hero said that this was just crazy and expressed hope that he would get the praying mantis fist. The young man also got the magic stone permafrost core. It had an aura of incredible power. But what did it all mean? The system reported that the trap had been activated. The seal of the Lord of Shadows, the Kaiser, had been activated. From now on, the Lord of Shadows had turned his gaze upon the player. Kim Jong-un was frightened. Who was looking at him? The protagonist did not understand what to do in such a situation. What did the Lord of Shadows, want from him? The player activated the unlock and removed the curse. Kang Jin-ho didn't understand what was wrong with this game. Why did the Lord of Shadows himself take a liking to the player? Kim Jong-un decided to look at the last reward and open the skill card. The system reported that the player had received the Permafrost skill card. The Celestial Demon said it was an excellent catch. Kim Jong-un said that he would still hold on to some points. It was worth maxing out all the more or less useful skills. Watching Mirage fight, our hero realized that even the simplest skills could be used wisely. Even low-level skills could deal decent damage when maxed out. Kim Jong-un remembered that he still had a chest with a skill he had received at level 35. It was time to open it. Elves appeared and asked if everything was okay with the descendant in L tier. A message came that the monster had retreated for unknown reasons. They left the defense at the fence and hurried here. Had it really escaped? Eltire said that they had destroyed the monster and added that this event should be celebrated properly. The elves present began to praise the queen and the new king of magicians. Kim Jong-un thought that he would have to postpone opening the skill chests. He would do it another time.